All right, man. Looks like we're live. So what's up, MGTOW Universe? We are back. This is the Experienced Optimist, and we're gonna have another discussion today. Oh man, whoa, hold on, whoa. Oh, I got it. I got it going on in the background. Hold on. All right, yeah. So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about the future of MGTOW, where you would like to see MGTOW going in the future. So, did you have any thoughts starting off on that?
I thought about it. I don't know, like honestly, I don't know like where it could go that's positive. So, like I said, like a few years ago, like the more men that join, or rather, adaptive MGTOW lifestyle, then you'll get these people that'll try to mutate it. Like I don't know, transsexuals. I got a few of those. Some gays, and again, I don't have anything against these people, but that's just I guess that's how it goes. A lot of times, or right now, we're seeing a lot of so-called MGTOW content producers are uploading like political stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like Tucker Carlson and all the other stuff. So I guess it's inevitable, but I don't know if there's like another layer or I don't know, like an evolution to like MGTOW, because I think MGTOW is kind of like that's it. You live for yourself. You do what makes you happy, and that's it. Now, as far as, and I don't know, I've heard people make the argument of what about funding and all that other stuff. I'm like, no, because I see MRA written. I see that from a mile away, and I know that's coming. So I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is a tough one, man. The reason why, what's up, No Filter? Yeah, let me see. I see No Filter in the chat. I see NYC Korean. NYC Korean is a straight up cool dude, man. And anyway, yeah. So I was thinking about these dudes were talking about MGTOW, man, and they were saying, I'm gonna have to send a link to No Filter. They were talking about MGTOW, like, oh, MGTOW are losers. They just complain about women all day. And I was thinking about that. I was like, as MGTOW, you have to tell men about female nature, because a lot of men, they just don't know female nature. Like, I didn't know female nature, you know?
Right.
All I knew was going to the clubs, drinking some vodka, and trying to get with chicks. I didn't know that they would do all this other devious stuff, you know, backhanded a lot of times. So,
right.
What do you think about that whole, I mean, you've already talked about the whole MGTOW losers thing, but how do you think that's going to change in the future? Do you think that MGTOW are going to be stopped? They're not going to look at MGTOW as losers, really, and they're going to see MGTOW for what it really is, or do you think it's just going to get worse?
What do you mean by worse?
Worse as far as they'll say that you guys are just losers. All you guys want to do is have sex with sex dolls. You guys don't have any ambition. You guys are just lazy.
Well, we did talk about this before. So what I've noticed in my experience, when people want men to fall in line, they don't sell honey. They sell vinegar, which is usually shaming tactics. You know, like you said, MGTOW losers, you're lazy, or as Jordan Peterson would say, you're what did he say? Something about weasels?
Yeah, he said something like that, like weasels or something.
Yeah, but will it get worse? Yes. I remember way back in 2012, 2013-ish, where we were just ignored because it was like, well, they're a very small group. Again, they didn't challenge the arguments, but it's just easy to pathetic weasels. Thank you, Dynamite Rabbit. We were ignored because the narrative was, or at least back then, it was primarily MRAs and PUAs. But it makes sense, and like I always say, people, the anti-MGTOW videos, they never challenge the arguments. They always challenge, or they always insult the MGTOW themselves. Personal attacks, as where you saw with Truth the Girl, where she was like, you have Arrested Development. These men, they attract the wrong kind of women, and that's why they're in the position that they're in. You know, we're in denial. And no, will it get worse when sex bots become mainstream? Absolutely. We talked about this before too. Like, if in our hypothetical universe where sex bots, or rather altered carbon level synthetics, become mainstream, women don't have a place in that society. So before it gets to that point, the mainstream media will have like I don't know. Again, I don't want to bring race in this, but they'll usually have like a white guy, an unattractive white guy, and he'll say, you know, I'm with this sex bot. I have my sex bot because it makes me happy. I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with that. And people will not challenge that argument. Instead, they'll attack him. Or no, rather, they won't attack him. But the narrative is, this is the kind of guy that has a sex bot. You don't want to be this kind of guy, right? So it's passive aggressive. It's shaming tactics without actually shaming them. And for anyone that wants to see an example of this, YouTube, search on YouTube for a clip on Oprah. Do Oprah, MRA, and PUA, right? It's a clip back from the mid '80s, and it's basically where they had Ross Jeffries. He was a PUA, still is. I forgot the other guy's name. He wears glasses, has long blonde hair. He's an MRA, and they're basically talking about domestic violence. And again, the arguments that they're making, the MRA is making, Oprah and their audience is not challenging the argument. They're just automatically jumping on the insult train. So will it get worse? Yes. Will it get better after it gets worse? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, let me say what's up to No Filter here real quick. I sent the link. What's up, No Filter?
What's happening? What's happening? Experience, man. What's happening, man?
Man.
I love discussion, man. I love the discussion, man. So I was thinking about this shit. I just did a stream minutes ago. Like, I was thinking about like being alone. Like,
just a minute, No Filter. Hold on. Do a sound check, like 1, 2, 3. The whole thing.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, your sound is struggling.
Yeah, sound distorted. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Same, a little bit better.
Okay. But you know, I was thinking. I just did a stream. I did
Still distorted. Let's do the mic.
Can you maybe turn off your mic and turn it back on, to unplug and replug or something like that?
So, yeah, hold on. Is it fixed now?
No.
Let me log back out and then log back in. And,
okay.
No. All right, man. I'll be back. Cool.
No, but MGTOW Universe, I like what you said. Kind of like along the same vein, like you said that they talk shit or whatever, but they always, like you said in a past video, they always come on. They say, you know what? I agree with MGTOW. I agree with these tenets. I agree that men are getting screwed in divorce court. But then say something else.
Is it?
Yeah,
that's a lot better. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. But like, I'm glad you're talking about this. I'm glad y'all talking about this because I actually did a stream minutes ago called like why I love being alone, and I was like, because I was thinking about this shit too, like the future of MGTOW with this Me Too, Time's Up, and this whole everything going into it, and like I just got done watching videos like hour ago with the Watch Your Balls, or was the video, a minute and 40-minute clip of the dude burning the house.
Protect your nuts.
Bro, left my hands off of that dude. I got burned by that bitch. So that joke was funny, dude. But I was thinking about it. I was thinking about like the future of MGTOW. And I think I think to me it's going to get worse because I feel like, I mean, here's the thing: MGTOW is still somewhat small, like on YouTube, but when it hits nationwide, like especially with the Southern Party group labeling the Red Pill as a hate group, it's gonna get worse, man. And I think that, but I think it's gonna be type of good worse, where it's like society just gonna understand the fact that you can't keep messing over men. Like it's gonna be, I think a male vote is going to happen. It's going to happen soon. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be more of a passive aggressive route where guys like say fuck it and just walk away. Like I was watching, I was reading some of the. I was looking at statistics the other day about the birth rate and the marriage rate is at an all-time low. Like it was something. Well, I forget what it was, and it was like the. I think it was I think TFM said in one of his videos about with the alt-right trying to get rid of porn, the trad cons trying to get rid of porn and stuff. And they try, I think in New Hampshire, I think, where they talk about, charging the guy $20. And I'm like, that's still like guys can still get around it. Like it doesn't necessarily matter. And I think even if you take away their porn, guys just gonna find another free site because it's always gonna be another free website to do it. And I think that and I think you said it best, MU. I think that when men enjoy shit, whether it's porn, sex dolls, whatever, even though I don't want one, I understand why guys get one. Cause I mean, you better off fucking a doll because these females ain't worth it nowadays. But I think that it's going to get worse. And I think that, but to me, I'm loving it though, because I love to see society fucking shambled and scared of shit. Like to me, I know this be wishful thinking. I want the fucking birth rate to hit an all-time low, bro. Like I want to see how the fuck they react to that, because to me, and it was like, I was talking to my friend about that. He was like, why would you want the birth rate to hit all-time low? Because I hate the way men are treated in America. Like men have no rights. Due process is gone. And I was telling him, I don't mention MGTOW from my friends, but like I was telling him, like, dude, look, like you can only, fuck over guys for so long before they say fuck it and just walk away. And just like, you know what, dude, I'm not playing this game. Like I was watching BGS on Emor with the whole Danielle Star fucking going on her husband and shit like that. I'm like, bro, fuck that. I couldn't put up with that shit right there. That bitch got that, bro.
No filter. Let me check. All right. Let me ask MGTOW Universe a question, and then I'm gonna ask you the same question. So you think everything's gonna get worse? Like both you guys think everything's gonna get worse, but how do you think going forward as a MGTOW, some of the things that you can do to make it easier for you, the other MGTOW going forward?
In terms of what?
In terms of probably self-development, like reading books, as far as like learning facets of game, as far as learning female nature. Like, what are some of the things that you would probably want to do so that going forward in the MGTOW journey that you'll have a better life?
Well, in my opinion, again, that I don't know. To me, that teeters on the line of trying to tell someone else
other men what to do.
On what to do.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
So what I would do is like, okay, this is what I do for me. This is what my vision I have for my life. And I would encourage you to do the same, or rather for you to introspect on what's important to you and to go from there. Now, if a man is, if his identity is wrapped into female validation, that's going to be a hard one because he has to figure out, he has to pretty much build himself back up. And in that, I think, well, at least for me, the red pill rage stage is inevitable. Because that's kind of like in my opinion, kind of like the breakdown process, and you have to build yourself back up. Some guys, and as I said, as I told SFM a while ago, some guys, in their mid-30s or 40s or maybe even 50s, so it's extremely hard for them because their entire life they've been thinking one way, and now they have to do something else, and that may, for some men, that may lead to a very dark path, like. Maybe homicide or suicide or something like that. How I would ask both of you, like, for those men, because it's one thing to discover the red pill in your 20s. It's another to discover it like at 55.
Oh yeah,
So for those guys in the 40s and 50s, to prevent them from going down that dark path, or even any guy at any age to go down that dark path, what steps can we take to to help them heal?
I think for me, this is my observation. I said this on mushrooms just a few minutes ago. I think it's find something you enjoy, whether it's golfing, whether it's bowling, whatever it's supposed to be. I think it's yes. I think you can only bowl and you can only do whatever for hobbies for so long. But I think that to me, I think it goes back to what I was saying before. When you see a male friend, this is something I talk about this too because I struggle with this too because I recently had a male friend of mine. He just entered a relationship and I'm starting to see the change in him. And like for me, I'm starting to see his girlfriend slowly pull him away from his male friends. And I'm just like giving him some advice. I'm not trying to tell him like, you need to do it. I'm like, dude, you need to be careful because now I was telling like any woman that try to pull you away from your male friends, one, this is going to lead down a tragic road. Because I was sitting there from him and I met his girlfriend for the first time and she pulled me to the side and she was like, I don't want you hanging around him because you're giving him thoughts and ideas and he telling me about this crazy shit you tell me. And I said, look, I was telling her, I said, look, I said, when you break his heart, because it's eventually going to happen, when the breakup is ended, guess what happened? Because he's young too. He's like, he's the same age as me. I'm 20, I'm 29, he's 28. So me and him in that same age range. And I said, my friend, you know, for me, because I have self-introspection, I have self-actualize, I have, you know, realize I have self-improve, I validate myself. He puts a lot, every time he dates a new girl, it's always validation, always seeking female validation. And I told him, I said, dude, be careful with that because with this girl, I ain't gonna lie, she's fine as hell. But I said, but besides the looks, I'm like, she's gonna drive you insane. And I said, I told my friend, I said, when I met this girl, when he first started dating, I said, dude, I fear for you. Because, and to me, even much as I get mad at these blue pill guys, I understand I was just a point you brought up in you that red pill rage is part of it. You got to go through it, man. Every man got to go through it.
Well, let me ask you this, no filter. Like, what would you tell that dude, like, let's say you call him a little bit early before the relationship, right? What would you tell him to, like, protect him from the inevitable fact that she's probably going to walk away from him sometime in the future?
I said be prepared for the worst. Like, here's the thing, I live my life and I think this is the best way most men should live it. You should, like, for me, I'm the type of person where you could tell me some bad news, and even if some bad news, I still try to see the perspective out of it. Even if it's some bad news, I try to take a good situation out of a bad situation. Now it depends on what it is, unless you do some criminal shit. But like, if it's a situation you put yourself in and you alienate from your male friends, I'm a firm believer that you can earn that friendship back. Now, will still male friends view you as the same? Now, that's up to them. But I think that the best way to do it, if I would have got to him before the relationship, I would have told him, I said, man, just do your hobbies. And I think that, and I said, this is one of my key things. I think that the reason why a lot of guys, they become angry or they go down this dark path, or it's like you said the best, when a man's 55 years old, he's set in his ways, because most guys in their 50s, they just set in their ways, right? Yeah. So when you tell a guy 55 years old, for one way he's been told is always female validation, and then his wife leaves him, say he's been married to his wife for like 20 years, whatever, right? He's 55, his wife is probably older, right? Or his wife is younger, older, whatever, a couple years older than him or younger than him, right? So he does this, he goes through this shit, and he either takes it one way. He either takes it and becomes a better person, or he decides to say, fuck it, I'm gonna kill all women. I'm saying that's the radical part, right? I'm just saying hypothetically, I'm saying he might not even do that. I'm just saying hypothetically if he does, right? And he becomes this person and he got his knowledge. And I think that's why I always talk about, like, I agree with the point that, as SFM said in one of the Travcasts, that you can't force some red pill knowledge on every guy, because some guys will take that shit and will fucking go so extreme with it, and it'd be like, oh, this guy was a MGTOW, so all MGTOWs, that's what I mean by it's going to get worse. So say for instance, there's a guy out there, right? You tell a guy about red pill knowledge, you watch the Barbarossa Stardust videos, or Trav, whatever he comes across, whatever MGTOW channel, yours and you mine's, whatever, or yours, Spirit Optimist, and he comes across it. Now, we kind of well-mannered, right? We ain't extreme, we ain't that crazy with it. But there is some MGTOWs out there that's a little extreme, right? There's a small percentage of it, but every group has it, right? He comes across a group, and the group and the dude's like, fuck women and women, all this and that. And he watched that shit. He comes out there and he starts to date a chick, and he doesn't get that validation approval. He starts shoot up a damn gym with 20 women in it, and it'd be like, oh, They go to this man's diary. Oh, he was a MGTOW, and that's what I mean by it's going to get worse. But how to protect yourself from it and to how to get men out of it, I think that you gotta let men know like the breakup is going to come. It may not happen at that moment, but it's going to happen, and you gotta prepare yourself for the heartache. And I think how you deal with that. Now, for me, I don't date, so what I don't date in this political climate. I dated, I got a date game a long time ago, but I think that that's how you deal with it. But I think that it's up to that person. Like, red pill rage is part of it. It ain't gonna have to go through it. Now, how to get out of that red pill rage is a different story, but I think it's part of what it is. And I think that you experienced Optimist. I'm pretty sure before you came across MGTOW, you dealt with red pill rage. Now, you didn't want to get some extreme shit, but I'm pretty sure you got fuck women and this and that. I was like that when I first became MGTOW. And then the more I started watching content, the more I started educating myself. I got out of that red pill rage, and it went from that. And then now I'm a MGTOW monk. So I think that there's stages to it, and you got to go through it. Every guy has to go through it, and I think that how that person comes out of it and what they do with that knowledge is up to them. You know,
That's true.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. You know, if I was looking at this, I don't necessarily know about the older guys, but for the younger guys, now I look back on now I'm a little bit older. I would try to tell guys that they need to be financially self-sufficient in a way to where, like, we always talk about leaving the pussy plantation, right?
Right.
But I think every man should leave the corporate plantation as well.
oh, yeah,
If every man, wow, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off in the filter, but if every man were able to, like, independent of where he lives in the world, be able to make like $5,000 a month, you know, and $5,000 a month or higher, and he was he can live in Poland, he can live in Costa Rica, he can live wherever he wanted to. That would get him off the corporate plantation, and I think it would help him get off the pussy plantation as well if he knows, you know, good red pill knowledge and he knows female nature. So that's one of the things I would try to like tell young guys. As far as older guys, a lot of older guys, you know, they have their businesses, they work for corporations, so their money is generally pretty good. But of course, if they get divorce rate, a lot of times they start back at ground zero, so that's tough for them. But if men could be self-sufficient financially, I think it would help them connect with other men, because then they won't get jealous of other men. They would have the money that they need to survive, and I think that would put them ahead of a lot of other men that are still trapped in the matrix.
Also I'm gonna use a rare comedian, but let's take Bill Burr as a prime example, right? Let's take some of his older content to his newer content, right? He was talking about anti-marriage, he was this and that, and he has a family, he got a wife, he got married at the age of 40, and look at the content he had. Like, that's what I mean by some. So I say most guys, like, I think Bill Burr said it best on one of his things. He was like, you know, my biggest fear is dying alone. And I think that for me, and I think this is something I noticed because I've always been an introvert ever since the age of 14. So for me, me being alone doesn't bother me. Like, for some guys it does, but to me it doesn't. And I think for some guys, being alone, that's their biggest fear. They fear their biggest fear down alone. But you really think about it, and I said it on my stream I just did, you know, of being alone. We all die alone. Like, we die alone. Like, you know, whatever you die from, right? We all die alone. And I think with these guys, if I have to get, especially for me, this reason why, like, the guys in the 40s and the 50s, ain't no reaching them guys. I'm not saying ain't no reaching them. You can reach them, but it will be hard. But for me, that's why when I do my channel, because I just started doing my streams and stuff. But like, I try to market to like the young guys in my age range, 20-year-old guys, like 20-year-old guys, like guys in their mid to late 20s. Like, I'm trying to get to those guys because I want to get to those guys because I think that, you know, it's so important that we get to the youth, because I think you even see it today with the millennials, right? Like, you see the video games are going up, guys are watching anime or whatever, and it's like they always saying, oh, the reason why the marriage rate is so down, and like I think TFM said it best, is always we gonna blame men for the issue. So it's like, oh, the reason why the birth rate is so low and these guys have low testosterone is because they Mad Kings or video games, whatever, or they watch anime, or they fapping the porn, or whatever excuse they have it. But instead of them saying, okay, you know, it's the whole gender diversity thing, and it's the whole gender equality thing, and it's Me Too times up. It's these every man is a rapist. Like I just had a friend of mine he just started going to college. He told me, he was like, man, I had to take a class on consent. Like, what the hell? And he was like, wow. And it goes to show you, I was talking about everything is always going to be man's fault. And that's what I mean by it's going to get worse, because I think that MGTOW, whether we like it or not, is going to hit mainstream. And I don't want it to hit mainstream, because once it becomes mainstream, it becomes bastardized. You can bastardize it. And it's like, oh, I'm red pill, I'm MGTOW, I'm this and that. And they'll say it because it's popular, but they won't take in the knowledge, or they won't actually live it. Like I think TFM said it best on one of his recent videos. He said, MGTOW is this new popular thing. Everybody wants to be a MGTOW because it's the thing. It's the same thing with feminists, right? And I talk about, like, I have this theory on hate. Like, it's like women, right? I was thinking about this the other day, like hate, right? Feminists and people hate MGTOW. But you know what? I had this theory, and it was a deep ass fucking quote. Guys don't fucking kill me with this quote. But like, I think hate is love, right? And no, let me explain this, right? Hate, like feminists talk about society, how much they hate MGTOW, right? But deep down inside, they want to fuck these guys, right? Because MGTOW saying, I don't need your approval, none of that stuff, right? They want to do is like, basically, MGTOW is going to become, in this time, Me Too, Dave mansplaining, street harassment era, we're going to become the guys that they hate, but deep down they want to fuck. Or, the guys that, even Steve the Dean women, the dating coaches, like all these PUA. Let's take alpha male strategies, right? He got all these whole, fuck MGTOW, this and that, but he taking the core elements of core philosophy, with the core elements of like female, not seeking female validation, is just doing what he needs to do. But here's the thing. The very same people, like they hate MGTOW, but they deep down, we're going to become the new alphas, right? But it's the thing about alphas, and this is why I hate this argument. Alpha.
Well, hold on, no filter. All right, let's bring it back real quick to being comfortable being alone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said that the alpha male strategies or whatever, and I want to ask MGTOW Universe about this too. So, because alpha male strategies, he says, all right, man, work on your purpose, do what you got to do, but still go out and bang all these chicks. So it's kind of like you can be, it's cool to be alone, work on your purpose or whatever, but you got to have those chicks in your life. And
that's
getting back to, it's a trap, right? Getting back to being comfortable with being alone. Let me ask you first, MGTOW Universe, the benefit of that, and then I'm going to come back to you, no filter, so you can answer as well.
The benefit of being alone?
Yeah, I think that's one of the better, especially going for MGTOW, for MGTOW, the benefit of being alone, I think, is one of the best things that a MGTOW could be right now, anyways.
I mean, it's easy for me to say that. As an introvert, lifetime introvert, that it's easy for me to say that.
Yeah, me too.
It's easy to be alone, but for guys that those social butterfly extroverts, I don't know, because they got to be around people. I don't know. Of course, we can say like the benefits of not having a girlfriend and a wife, and that's obvious, right? I have yet to hear anyone dispute that, but I don't know if you're telling them that try to sell it as being alone, MGTOW, you may have some pushback, because some people, maybe they don't want to get married, maybe they don't want to have a girlfriend or have kids or whatever, but you're selling them, let's say, trying to be a MGTOW monk, right? And that's where men be like, okay, and we're out, right? Because you're telling them who no more sex or don't pursue women. Most guys, in my opinion, they're just not there yet. Or maybe they won't ever be there. And as I always say, that's perfectly fine. If you want to do the pump and dump thing, or even if you want to do the girlfriend, or if you want to play the girlfriend and the wife game, or the marriage game rather, okay, but understand the risks.
Yep. That's
what I always say. I never say, well, my logo says something different. Let's ignore the logo. but I always say, first of all, be rigorous in whatever game that you're playing, right? Whether it's marriage, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's SYSBM and going to another country, or rather, if you want to date outside your race in this country, always do your homework. Always understand the risks, and you go from there. I think the big issue with men, the number one issue is how can I overcome my instincts?
Yeah.
Because with Bill Burr can say all he wanted to say about women and marriage and this and that, and girlfriends not shooting layups in reference to Kobe's wife when she was almost about to divorce him. But if he's still getting married himself at the end of the day, all that shit he said is null and void.
Yep.
I agree. Yep. Yeah. Like,
yep. Well, and to add on to MU point and answer MU point, I think that to me, this is something I had to learn for me because I was like 21, 22 years old. I was trying to fuck every chick I saw. Like, that just me. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. Before I ever became MGTOW monk, or before I ever start introspection, to me, dude, I was always chasing tail. Like, and that's why I say when I came across MGTOW 2012.
So basically, back in the day, you would have been a perfect student for alpha male strategies. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I would have probably. I fell victim to that same trap because I was seeking female validation. I was trying to, lose. I was virgin at the time too, so I was trying to lose my V card and just like, man, like fuck, man, like I just don't lose it. And like, and looking back on it now, like, because I was just giving into my instinct. If I would have kept the same mentality I have now, but I mean that's part of life. You live and learn, right? I think if I had the mentality I have now, back in the day, I think I would be way more different. But here's the thing: even with me being the guy I always want to see female validation, I was always an introvert. So for me, it's like I still had the instinct drive, but I kind of felt the same traps that most guys would fall into. But I think one thing I necessarily had to learn throughout the way this the hard lessons of life for me. What I had to really learn was I'm asking myself, you know what? Have to self-introspect. And I think, and you brought a good point. I think that for a man to go against his instinct, go against his drive, that animal instinct, that just to go out there, have sex with everything you see, I see why any guy would fall victim to it, because I think that it's part of us. Like, even me, I'm a MGTOW monk, and I ain't gonna lie to you, much as I'm a MGTOW monk, there's times where I have to watch porn just to, whatever, like, just for me, it's where I am. I'm very honest with it. I'm not gonna fucking lie, act like I don't fab. Like, look, it is what it is to me. I blow off my steam, and then once I blow off the steam, back off to doing what I was doing before. And I think that was definitely missing in today. Like, one thing I had to learn is that the instinct is still there, but it's somewhat man in control, and it's not me going out there wanting to have sex with a chick. Like, I have thoughts. I mean, the thoughts are still there of like, oh yeah, maybe I could bang this chick. But I'm not gonna be one of them dudes. I'm a MGTOW monk. I'm above it all, man. Like, no. I see a fat ass. Like, look, I get, it's like just like everybody else is. But I have to. But I put it in perspective, and just unlike everybody else is, like, unlike my male friends who just like they see a fat ass and they just start simping and Google that over me. I just put it in perspective. Like, okay, yeah, she look good, but she ain't worth the problem. So like, that's how I view it. But I understand that, and you brought up a good point. I think going against your instinct, that's hard as fuck to do. Like, that's why I don't be like, I don't tell somebody, oh, if you going out there, you fucking a sex doll, whatever, so on. So like, dude, I think everybody goes their own way in a different way. So who am I to tell somebody, yo, if you want to fuck a sex doll, whatever, that's you, whatever. If you want to pump and dump, I don't know why, but if you want to pump and dump, cool, that's you. But just like you said, and you like, just know the risk. You won't be like they do in that video, protect your balls, man. And then you don't want to be that dude. So I mean, it's up to you as a person to seek to understand, to control that instinct, because it can get out of control. It can either lead to a porn addiction, it can either lead to what sex addiction, whatever. It don't matter what it is. I think that instinct is in every MGTOW. You could be MGTOW monk, whatever. You can't tell me, as a guy, you see a chick, your stuff don't get hard. So I think that it's part of man's nature. It's part of what we are. It's always going to be there. But how you control it and how you deal with those urges is how you come out of it.
Exactly. Well, but on No Filter, I was thinking about that. That's a good point you brought up. But the loneliest thing, man. So, man, I try to be an extrovert for so many years. I'm naturally an introvert.
Yeah.
And now I can tell you, like, if you're an introvert and you're trying to be extrovert, it's just going to cause you so many problems in life because so many years I tried to be something that I wasn't, trying to fit in with people that I shouldn't have been trying to fit in with.
Yep.
And I wasted all that time. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure MGTOW Universe knows what I'm talking about as well. So I think, man, when you're introvert, just like what you were saying, no filter, man, just be honest with who you are, man. Don't try to go out there and be an extrovert, try to be the party guy, and then try to get with all these girls and you know, and buy all these clothes for like you're in some sort of fashion show just to just to impress other people. I think staying true to who you are, is what you have to do.
I think definitely what's so hard about being an introvert. Like for me, in high school, I tried it. I tried to fit in with the cool kids. It wouldn't do. I would get my CD player, throw my headphones on at lunch, just walk out to my door and see. I was listening to G Unit at the time back in the day. It was way back in the day, high school, 2005 to 2006. But like easily just bumping my G Unit 50-cent CD and didn't have a care in the world. I had very few friends. Like I had a white guy for a friend, I had a Latin guy for a friend. They were all nerds. So like we would talk about Dragon Ball Z. So in the classroom, I remember one time at the lunch table and girls like, damn, y'all some fucking geeky guys. All y'all do is talk about anime. What the hell is this shit?
Well, you know what, no further. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can get back to your point. What's funny about that is like talking about all that nerd stuff. All that nerd stuff can lead you to creating like an anime company or creating comic books and create, you know, a lifestyle that you want down the line that can make a lot of money. But anyway, back to what you said.
Yeah, but like, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Like for me, I never in high school I tried it and it wasn't meant for me. Like I never saw the purpose. I never saw the purpose of being an extrovert because I feel like when you're an extrovert, you're trying to fit in with the cool kids. You're trying to, like, for me, like, I smoked weed one time, never got high. Well, I probably was high, but I was probably smoking it, right? But I smoked blunts one time. I tried something one time. I drunk one time, never did it. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, for me, I'm one of the type of person where I do something one time, and if it doesn't, like, I almost die from alcohol poison too, so that's the reason why I don't drink. But, like, smoking, it is what it is to me. And I feel like I have always said this before. I said this so many times about, you know, like you said, you know, experience optimism. Like, you know, when you an introvert, man, it's like, don't force that shit. Like, don't try to be something you're not. Because, like, for me, like, my male friends, they constantly try to force girls on me. Like, I remember one time, like, this one girl was interested in me, and like this dude was like, he told me about her. It was like, okay, whatever. And she was like, she was a heavy nerd. Like, she was a good looking girl. And I kindly told her, like, look, you know what? I said, I'm only talking to you because my friends doing this stuff, but deep down inside, I'm not interested. And she was like, you know, she was shocked, and she was like, she's just looking at you. It's like you're a confident type. I'm like, I'm very shy when it comes to certain things, right? So I'm more of a person. Like, I'm very shy when it comes to girls. So like I'm still learning to get deal with the fact to me. But I feel like being changing up who you are, like you said it best. Like I think you said it best. Experience Optimist on in you last stream when we was talking about MGTOW. You know, you was talking about about basically changing who you are. Never change who you are, man. If you a dude, you into comic books, you into anime. Like, I'm into comic books, anime. I'm into all that shit. Like, dude, I'm into all kinds of sci-fi shit. Like, I don't run away from that shit. I own up to what it is. Even my male friends, like, because I recently brought a backpack. I'm always buying superhero backpacks, and like the reason why you can't get no ass because you always wearing superhero backpacks, and that's
okay. All right, no, Phil, you brought up a good point because I wrote a note down here for that. So let me ask both you and MGTOW Universe. Okay, so do you think MGTOWs, going forward, should learn all facets of game, female nature, seduction, overall human nature, and red pill awareness?
That's true. That's a good question.
I don't know about game, but as far as hypergamy and stuff like that, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. But like the game and stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking like if you're a MGTOW that likes to pump and dump, right? Mm-hmm. Or do you think learning game is essential so that women can't get over on you?
Well, game works first and foremost. It works.
Yeah.
You know, PUA tactics and strategies. It works. I know that from personal experience. So if you want to be a pump and dump MGTOW, then yeah, I would say so. But again, it's only going to be a matter of time where it's like, okay, so what am I really doing in my life here? Because no one chases tail forever.
I think you brought up a good point. I'll bring this up, like you mentioned. You know, when you the latest stream you did, it was called bitch management, right? You talked about the Patrice Mill. That's why I call it. And that's even if I did decide to go back and say, you know what, I'm just gonna pump and dump. Eventually, it becomes bitch management, because to the point where you spend all these clothes. You know, whatever you buying these Jordans, you buying these shoes, you buying these high end clothes. Like, to me, I'm a monk, so like I live minimalist as hell, dude. I'm cheap as fuck, dude. I am the cheapest dude you'll ever know. Like, I don't like spending money. I'm spending on comic books and anime, whatever, cool, toys, whatever. I'm cool with that, you know. But like clothes, I don't care, man. I wear the same white t-shirt every day, and I think that. You know, one thing I learned about me, and I think this to me out to address your question. I think to me, this is my observation of it. I think that you shouldn't. I think every guy should know about female hypergamy and like that. But gang, I think that's some bullshit and leads to bitch management. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, so what about then red pill awareness? I guess red pill awareness.
I think red pill awareness is very important. Like, I watch MGTOW videos, not just you, Experience Optimist, not just you, MU, Trav, SFM, TFM. I watch a lot of MGTOW content. State Barbarossa Stardust, they old stuff. I'm Red Sunrise Hoodie. I watch a lot of their old content because I'm always watching it to educate myself, to keep it. Because I mean, here's the thing, man. You know, we talk red pill all the time, but look, you're gonna have blue pill moments, man. It's part of who you are. It's just gonna be part of who you are. If you say you don't have it, then you lying to yourself. And I think that one of the biggest moments I learned, this is something I really talked about, and I think that you always stay on top of red pill knowledge, man. You stay on top of red pill knowledge. You have to be on top of that shit. Because if you don't, man, you go right back to that blue pill world. People fall into that trap all the damn time, man. It's a hook, line, and sinker trap all the time.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about? Because I have another note here. What do you guys think about being selfish? I mean,
nothing wrong with that shit, man.
I don't see. Yeah, that's good. No filter. I think so too. I think, especially going forward, like, man, I think you have to be selfish. I think
you have to.
Everyone says that, oh no, as a man, you need to give of yourself to everybody else, and that you can't be selfish. And then you wake up at 60 years old and you're all used up. So I like where you're going, no filter. I think, yeah.
But you know why people do that though, right?
Why is that?
Because they want you to be disposable. Because I always say, when society would rather men not do their own thing. Because when men do their own thing and they're not shamed for it, where does that leave women? Where does that? Well, men are going to chase tail regardless. Where does that leave relationships in terms of marriages and kids and stuff? Because I don't know about y'all, but 99% of the guys who I knew growing up, them dudes did not talk about having kids, and they were not talking, and they most certainly was not talking about getting married. So, from a standpoint of society, if you have men that would rather play video games or do their own thing and not get married, that's bad for business.
But if you look at like a lot of the greatest inventors and artists, right? Weren't they selfish when they created the things they created?
Yep.
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, we always say Tesla, right?
Let's say Tesla, right? Tesla is one of the greatest minds that ever walked on the planet. But what would his kids look like? Like, there's a lot of women that wanted to have his baby because he was hot shit back then. He hung around Westinghouse, one of the richest guys in the country back then. So yeah, from a standpoint of the macro standpoint of society, yeah, he revolutionized electricity and stuff like that. But did he deprive society of something by not having kids?
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I see what you're saying as far as the male responsibility thing. Absolutely. If men are not selfish, then the machine can't keep chugging along. So I totally agree with you there.
Right.
But man, it's like, but for MGTOW men going forward, I think you have to be selfish. Which I'm sure you agree with and all stuff, but
I mean, you have to be. I mean, my thing is, I'm at the point in my life where I turned 30 this year, bro. And I said, when I turn 30, I'm selfish as shit, bro. I tell you, I'm first to tell you right now, I'm selfish as shit. When I was younger, I was always trying to please others, especially in my teen years. I was trying to please others. But now I'm at the point where, like, fuck it, man. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna watch my anime. I'm gonna read my comic books. I'm gonna be this. I mean, and it's funny because my friends tell me I'm a grown ass kid. I need to grow up. I'm like, dude, fuck you. I'm gonna watch my fucking anime. Look, dude, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. And I think people, when they see a guy says, you know what, I'm the star player. I'm the most important. I'm the most important thing in my life. I think that, like you said before, but to bring up a point you brought up in you, I think Nicole tested to me what I admire about the guy. I think that to me, because his view of women was kind of fucked up too, but I can appreciate what he said. But I think it was true. I think that Sunrise Hoodie talks about it all the time about like male disposability, and he talks about when you a MGTOW and you decide to go for you want to get those shaming lines like who hurt you in the past, whatever. Because I even get that to this day. I used to get that from like like my male friends, like, what girl hurt you in the past, and whatever, so and so, you just can't get a woman, whatever, you can't get laid. And then I even tell them, like, I can give a fuck about getting laid, dude. I like that shit is overrated. I can get ass anytime I want to, but that's not the point. And I was telling them, like, being selfish, when a man decides to be selfish, people got a problem with that. And I think that even if like, let's say I just happened to die today and I didn't change the world, right? And nobody know who I was not famous, I'm not a famous rapper. I think that any man that dies alone, that doesn't have a fucking family, he's always going to be shamed for it. I mean, let's take what's the guy name? What's the guy name? I forgot who it was. And I feel like when a guy decides it, he has to understand the fact that, to me, I think selfishness is part of life. I think everybody should be selfish, especially men. Because look, like I said, like I told my male friends that I was like, the reason why I'm selfish is the court system, family courts, colleges, they don't care about men. Like, it's the same thing. I think TFM said it best on one of his videos. He was talking about like support groups of military veterans, right? It's like you watch those Army commercials. Be that one good fellow, good soldier. As soon as your ass lose an arm, you lose a limb, they send you up, pack off. They said you can't fight in the war no more. And it's the brainwash 18, 19-year-old, hype him up, tell him that, be that one good fellow, good soldier. He lose a limb, and it's the same old cycle repeat. And I tell him that's what it's like being in a relationship. It's like you are fighting a war. You ain't a human. You ain't a villain. You ain't got emotions. You are a person that's fighting a war, and once you lose a limb, or say if you don't lose a limb, you may come back with PTSD. They don't care about you, man. So my thing is, why should I risk my life to have a fucking family, a significant other, just for not appreciate that shit? Like, why should you? Like, my thing is, people, it's the same thing to me, and that's why I feel sorry for the soldiers that come home in the war, because those guys got to come home to that shit, and then they thought the wife was all loyal. They come home, they catch in the bed. And then it was like this. I forgot what scene of the Dead Presidents. I forgot what scene it was. I forgot what scene it was in Dead Presidents, where Eddie Murphy called his wife in the bed, and she called his wife in the bed with another dude. He grabbed that pistol, killed her, killed him, and he saw on the steps with that pistol light, and he went to jail for it. I think he went to the military somewhere, and they gave him option or whatever. But like, that point of premise, like, that what I'm trying to say is, like, dude, it's like that's how you end up. You either end up, if you're not selfish, you either end up in divorce court with half your shit taken away, your kids taken away, and it's like, dude, it's like no man should be living like that. I don't give a damn.
Let me ask you this, No Filter. So now you're selfish, right? Well, let me ask both of you guys. Now you're a selfish guy. You're doing your thing, right? You're doing your thing. Everything's working out. How do you stop other people from shaming you into going back to the plantation and being selfless and giving all of yourself to other people?
Not giving a fuck. I mean, really.
Yeah, but how do you develop that character, right? Because that takes, like.
Yeah, it takes. But here's the thing: it takes years for you to get to that point, though.
Yeah. But what do you do? But what do you do to get to that point?
I think you really have to self-introspect and figure out, realize the fact that shame is going to come. Like, no, I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I still get shamed to this day, like, you know, for not wanting to have a family, you know, whatever. But I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I just don't give a fuck, man. I'm gonna live my life for me, you know, whatever. And I feel like I often say this. I think that to get to that point, it depends on that person's journey. I think that not some men don't ever get to that point. Some men they'll just cave into it. Like as soon as they get the pressure for their mom, oh, you know, you're 21, son, you should be getting married. And a lot of guys fall for it because it's been working for so long. If it's like I talk about like programming, right? Think about when we was kids, right? You grow up with your mom and dad. If you grew up with two parents, or you didn't grow up with two parents, and like you sit there, you've been told by your mom and dad for so long that man up, you cry, your sister cry, whatever, and like you fall on the bike, there's like get up, real men don't cry, whatever. And you've been told that shit for so long, and then you get to the point in your life where you just like some people, you know, find ways to deal with it. They say fuck it, they take the passive aggressive route. And that's me, where I don't even care. Like I often feel it because I basically like I leave a lot of comments on a lot of MGTOW videos, and like dudes, like I can't tell you how many times dudes fucking call me saying I'm a punk and I'm a dweeb, I'm a nerd, I'm a loser for watching anime. And I said, dude, now like I find this mad interesting. The guys talking about MGTOW's a bunch of insecure ass men, and y'all been butthurt. Guess what happened? The most insecure men is the ones that's critically critiquing other men, that's basically not giving a fuck about society, saying, look, it's about me, man. I'm living my life for me. I'm selfish. This is what the fuck I am. And most people can't accept it. Most people cannot accept that fact that most men saying, fuck it, it's about me. Not to get to that point. How I got to that point, it took years for me to get to this point. But when I got to that point, I think it's a good feeling, because when you get to that fuck it moment, like Terrence Pop said, you know, when you say fuck it moment and to say I don't give a fuck stage, that's when you really reach MGTOW to me. That's when the MGTOW philosophy really helps you, because it doesn't work. The shame shit don't work on you. Like for me, I just use the shame language. I just found the right one, ain't looking for the right one. But that's how I got to that point, you know.
Okay, so basically you're at the fuck, you're like, okay, I like anime, I'm a nerd, you can call me whatever. That's just who I am. Fuck you, this is who I'm gonna be. All right, so that makes sense. All right, but MGTOW Universe, he's the same way. All right. So how'd you get to the point to where you're like, hey, you know, I just doing my own thing and I really don't care about other people?
Wisdom. Takes time. Like No Filter says, it takes time. For me, I want to say it took a solid 5 years. Because you're constantly fighting. Well, for me, I was fighting with myself. Right? You get to the blue pill. Getting from blue pill to purple pill is relatively easy. At least it was for me. Getting from purple pill to the red pill, that's the struggle, because now you're fighting with your own instincts. You know, you got sexually attractive women. They come around you. Some of them, not often, will try to hit on you. Especially older women, man. It's easy to fuck older women. Jesus Christ. But anyways, it's for me, it was just a process. Yeah, you could say fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing. But remember what we were talking about, experience, those soul suckers, when they come around, soul suckers are extremely dangerous. When they come around and they bless you, like they'll have you like Bill Burr out here forgetting all that shit. So you have to and like I said before, it's the struggle for men, at least I think so, is being vigilant. Yep. You know, even though you come across a soul sucker, you have to be vigilant, and that's the struggle.
Man, let me add to that, because the soul sucker, that is a big problem. But one of the things I notice about guys, like growing up, when you're first growing up and you're told to be selfless or whatever, and you're told to be that nice guy, man, it's so hard to break that program as you get older. And what I noticed about in the military, one of the dudes, some of the guys that broke that programming, that seemed to break the programming better than other guys, were guys from the East Coast. For some reason, those New York dudes, Boston dudes, they could see through all sorts of bullshit. So they developed this character where they took no nonsense. If they wanted to do something, they would just go out and do stuff. And it was crazy. But it's hard to develop that that character. But if you can just sit down and look at your past and see how you were programmed, and then try to unprogram that, man. But it's so difficult, like you said. If you
and I can tell filter. I can tell you, Spirits Optimist. I'm glad you brought that point up because I was brought up as a nice guy, dude. Like, I'm very physical when I get angry. I'm a very nice guy. I'm a very passive aggressive type of guy. I take a lot of shit. Like I let shit build up, and then I get physical with people. But from the time I was in high school, I was a nice guy, dude. I was put in the friend zone and all kinds of shit. Like, and looking back on it now, like I look back at a 16 no filter, 14, 15 with a no filter. And I look at my life, man. If I had the mentality I got now, I'd probably be different. But in a way, I didn't change because I think that you gotta, we all get that naive stage because I thought, nice guys. I was always opening doors. I was always, giving females compliments and trying to, winding down. I just basically, for me, I remember like I'm so being in high school, I just questioned this girl named Adriana, and I never forgot. Like she never gave me no time of day. And I remember Valentine's Day Walmart, and I brought her like this teddy bear, some roses, whatever. Like, and she said thank you, and like and this looking back on it now, like God damn, I was a fucking simp because I was a simp. I think we all simped at one time. And I think that for me, looking back on it now, I think in a way, I kind of glad I learned from it. Because like,
here's the thing about simping though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about simping. Simping is not necessarily
a bad
thing because being nice to people, right, is not bad. When you're nice to your friends, it's just that when you're nice to people who don't appreciate it.
That's the point.
Well, I mean, they're basically taking advantage of you, really, but it's you're just learning not to give of yourself to people who will take advantage of you.
Yeah, and I think definitely that's the hardest part. Like I feel like for me, looking back on it now, I think that to me, I learned from it. But that's when I started to become more of the passive aggressive. I became more of an asshole. Like, be honest with you, now I'm more of an asshole now. Like, like I don't give a fuck. Like, I tell you, fuck you, kiss my ass, and call it a dawn day. Like, I'm at that point, and I think every man has to that breaking point because I was a simp. So for me, coming from me, and like this guy's be actually honestly first time talking about it, but like. I think we all at one point was we was simping, and I think that we all did stuff for girls in high school or college or whatever, and then they didn't do shit for us, so they didn't appreciate it. And I talk about liking girls and girls never liking me, and girls taking advantage of me because I was when I was like 16 years old, dude. I had girls. Girls took advantage of me. I remember like 14, the last girlfriend I had, she would get money out of me and all that stuff like that. So I can tell you the stories. I can tell you the blue pill stories I've been through with females and how female, and even a 14 or no filter back in the day knew how female, I didn't know about hypergamy then, but like hypergamous back then, not realizing the fact that it was pregnant hypergamy. They was using their sex, they was using their looks or how good they looked to get money out of me, and it worked. But for a couple of years, and the last girlfriend I had, whatever, and I was like, fuck this shit. And I told my dad, I'm never getting another girlfriend. Fuck that shit. And when she broke up with me, I took it hard. But a couple months passed, couple years to move on in my life, whatever into it. And it's like, dude, whatever. And I realized in my life, I told myself, looking back on it now, I think it's all part of a learning curve. I think that we all have to get to that point. But I think that to get to that fuck it moment where you just say, I don't give a fuck, and just put your hands up and say, you know what? I'm going to go my own way. I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's very hard to get there, but I think, like you said, you want to go Bill Burr. You want to go full Bill Burr, where he says he's anti-marriage, and the next thing you know, he talking to MGTOWs, oh, you just haven't found the right woman. Like, every man falls into that fucking trap, and that's what I mean by being selfish is you have to understand when you get to that fucking moment, that's when you get to say fuck it and just walk away. Like for me, I can't tell you, I think I was in a store recently and it was this old lady and this young chick, black chick, whatever. She had to be 21, whatever. And she wanted to get something to eat. And then I got done playing the lottery, whatever, and had some money on me. And she was like, oh, a real man does so and so. And I know she was talking about me, but I didn't give a fuck. I just threw my headphones out, walked the fuck out that damn door, and said, I didn't give a flying fuck. And I was thinking to myself now if I was a fucking simp back in the day, I probably would have brought some of that chick, and she wouldn't appreciate it in the first place. So that's that red pill knowledge kicking in when you come in there. And you start giving a fuck, Like you stop giving a fuck because you don't get to that point, you know.
Man, Beatnik. Sorry about that, motherfucker. I was just reading the chat, man. Beatnik really hates the army, man. What do you have against the army, Beatnik? Anyway, yeah. Man, he hates it. But but yeah. So, but what do you think about? Okay, so now you got everything aligned. I want to ask both you guys this. So, what's success like to you now? Now that it's not like you're not thinking about it, looking at it through a blue pill lens. What is success like to you guys?
Success for me, it's about, man, to me, this is not about me because I'm cheap. I can give a fuck about money. It's about just for me because, like I said this, you know, when my lifetime goals is like 50, 55, 60, I'm blessed enough to see it. Monastery, just leave America, just join a monastery. Like that's my goal. But currently, right now, I want to work on. I want to become a comic book creator. I want to write comic books. I want to create sci-fi stuff. Like I want to create comic book characters, write comic book stuff, and draw. I want to be like big Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Then once I make all my money, take all my money, retire, and just join a monastery. Change my name, go full monk, grow my beard out, grow my full monk beard out. Throw my, become a monk, live on a monastery amongst the other monks, and just call it a dawn day, and then die with the other monks, man. That's just my long-term goal. But to me, that's success in my eyes, where I make up enough money to travel the world, broaden my horizon, do documentaries, probably speak on men's issues. Like, probably I would like to do a documentary on like divorce and how men are affected by that, to me, because I think that would be good. And like, to me, my bigger purpose is because the red pill knowledge I have, I want to help men, not the MRA route, because I think that's fucking useless, but actually, give men a platform where men can use and vent their frustration.
MRA thing, right? So, what's his name? John, right? MGTOW. MGTOW's freedom. Hold on. Let's get back to that. But let me ask MGTOW Universe first. What does success look like to you?
In terms of what? Being MGTOW?
Yeah, being MGTOW, yeah.
I do what I want whenever I want. I don't have to answer anyone. I don't have any kids running around my feet. To me, like ignoring like my desire of being a better music producer, video producer, programmer, graphics designer, stuff like that. Forget all of that. Like if I was just working at McDonald's and I wasn't married, having the kids, and my life wasn't full of stress, I think that's a win right there. I mean, because you can always get more money, you can always gain skills and get more money.
Yeah.
But you're not in a position to where you're trapped.
And to be honest with you, I'm gonna say this because I know I'm probably gonna get ripped for this shit. Working a minimum wage job is not a bad job in MGTOW, man. Like it's just you.
Hold on. Before I'm gonna let you finish that, but it's funny because I was listening to Donovan Sharp. And big shout out to Donovan Sharp, and nothing against the guy, but he was talking about levels to the MGTOW. I think he might have a skewed perception of MGTOW, and he was talking about low level MGTOW, right? So low level MGTOW, I don't think he said anything about minimum wage jobs, but he's talking about like maybe guys who can't get laid, so they say that MGTOW, right? They don't have anything going on in their life, so they say that MGTOW. And I think he may have alluded to the guy working minimum wage or whatever, but I don't necessarily think that just because you're working minimum wage and you're not making a lot of money that you're some loser MGTOW. But anyway, back to what you're saying, no filter.
But like, here's the thing, man. This is the red pill in me, and I'm changing. I'm evolving as a person. People look at minimum wage job as a slap in the face. Like if a guy's single, if a guy doesn't have no wife, no kid, and he's working a minimum wage job, and he's fucking happy, he got his console, he got his PC. I know you. I mean, whatever. And that's what he enjoys. What the fuck is wrong with that? Like if a person wants to spend 10 years, if a person wants to spend 10 years working at McDonald's, what's wrong with that? I don't see nothing wrong with that. I think people, always talk about the expectation of society of the higher paying job. Like I can see if the guy had a wife, a kid, or whatever, and he's working at McDonald's. I can kind of see that point, right? Even I don't believe in traditionalism. I think it's bullshit. But like I understand it from that standpoint. But if you single, like Grizzly MGTOW said it best, man. If you single, man, and you working at McDonald's, that's a breed job. You got a job. And whatever, but to me, I feel like, and I say this all the time, this is the monkey me because I read a lot of books on Buddhism. I'm currently reading a book called The Dalai Lama, The Art of Happiness, and it says money is all the distraction. It's like the money, the job, it's just anything to me. I feel like whatever makes you whatever makes you happy. I feel like people, when they hear of a person, like I have, for me, they was asking me, whatever. And I feel like people need to accept the fact that, to me, that I think that what I love about MGTOW, I think what I love about men today is that we're forgoing these age-old traditions of, oh, you get the high-paying job just to please somebody else. If you spend 10 years working at Chick-fil-A, who cares, right? It's just you by yourself living in your apartment. Your bills are paid. You got your gaming console. You're gaming online. You going to the movies. You may not have a 401k, but who cares, right? When you dead, you can't take it with you, right? And that's my view of money. Like, we need it. I understand it's part of society. It's part of us for us to provide. But there's monks that lives on monasteries that don't have none of that stuff and live way more happier than we do. So
are you trying to say, no filter, that the whole suited and booted, you got to dress up, I'm the Mac Daddy super pimp, I got to go out and get chicks all day long and make money all day long. You trying to tell me that that's not fulfilling?
Bullshit. It's a fucking trap, though. It's a fucking trap, and a lot of people, like, let's take the housing crisis. I think you remember when the housing market crashed? And a lot of housing market crash, and a lot of those real estate investors, a lot of bankers committed suicide because the wife was divorcing them and shit like that, and the male suicide rate was at an all-time high. You know why? Because they put their faith into what you call it. They put their faith into
learning.
What was that?
It's bedtime. I'm just messing with no filter, but let me answer that question. I think the reason why we're conditioned from the time we're little boys to want more, or rather to want what society wants for us, is, again, it's good for the system. I think guys are very cheap when they're not chasing tail. They're very cheap. They don't want the stress of marriage. Probably don't even want the stress of kids. I don't know. I think the reason why people see MGTOW as threatening is because it's men opting out of a system that needs them, and that's a big problem. So,
yeah. But yeah, I was gonna double back to the MRA thing, right? So, John from MGTOW's Freedom, he's what's that new group that he's starting?
The new what?
That new group that he's starting is like, Freedom. Let me look that up, man. But this whole like MRA movement and trying to build a better society for men as a group. Do you think that's better than an individual MGTOW?
No, because so there was this rule that was created. I forgot what it was. Like, out of 100 people in any group, you're always going to have 1%. That one person that's going to be batshit crazy. When that day comes for MGTOW, and do not mistake it, that day is coming. Whether it's going to be a school shooting, whether it's going to be whatever, where that person is going to be reading MGTOW content, or he's going to identify as a MGTOW, and then we are going to be put front and center in front of the entire world, and that's when they will come for us. Now, if we I don't know, explicitly say that we're a group or not, it really doesn't matter. When they come for us, they're going to come for us. But whether we're a group or individuals, but as far as, and I heard John say this in a podcast with what's the Asian guy name? That does the interview.
Oh, Jerry Lou.
Jerry Lou. When they was talking about marketing and stuff like that, I'm like, you guys are going down the MRA route. Again, the problem with MRA route is that people don't give a shit about men. They don't. So
And that's
you could try to get funding. Yeah, you could do all that, and sure, fine, I'll passively support it. But when you come to that brick wall about people not giving a shit about men over women, then okay, you'll be in the same position as MRAs.
Yeah.
That's why I think the men have to be financially self-sufficient. If you're financially self-sufficient, you can be basically like a MGTOW ninja. Even if you are part of Society for Men's Freedom, like that's the group that John is starting. They can come after you, but if most men have financial freedom, it'll be hard to take down all of the men, I think.
You know,
right. Let me just address that real quick. No filter. When the SPLC declares that group, and it's coming, when the SPLC group SPLC declares that group as being women haters or hatred, or even worse, the government declares that group as a group of terrorists.
Yeah.
And I'm just being paranoid, but this is your life. So my thing is you should always be paranoid when it comes to your life. Now what? When you have the FBI potentially coming at the door and knocking it down.
So in that case, how can MGTOW be more strategic then?
But I think to add a point, I think remain anonymous, man. You gotta remain anonymous. Hide behind names, create usernames. I know it's hard because people can trace your ID, whatever.
Okay, so basically be a MGTOW ninja then. Okay, yeah.
But I think you got to ghost in plain sight. Like I think ghosting in plain sight. Like I feel like if I was a celebrity who was asking me have I heard of MGTOW, I'd be like I never heard of him before. But even if I say I do, I identify as one. But I think here's the thing. You know what? Really, I think will be interesting if a celebrity actually came out and said he was a celebrity. I think he would get the grunts of it because I was thinking about that shit too. Like, what if celebrities? Because there's some celebrities out there. They may have never heard. They've heard of it, but they probably don't say that they don't identify with the labeling, but they probably have the same views, like Leonardo, right? And I think that I was talking about this, that I was like, what if MGTOW? What if a celebrity said I'm MGTOW? What if I agree with their talking points? I think that it would. I think. Like you said before, I think that I think he'll be attacked by the feminists. He'll be attacked by the trad cons and the traditionalists saying, "Oh, they're a hate group and whatever, so on." So I think, but to me, I think that day is going to come, and it breaks my heart to say it. That it's the truth that MGTOW was going to get. That you're going to get that one radical person that watched the content. They're going to take that shit too far, and they're just going to they're going to probably shoot somebody up or whatever, and it's going to oh, this person, listen, and I think that day is going to come. But I think to protect yourself, I think to remain anonymous, go to plain sight. I know it's hard to do it, especially when you're online, they can trace your ID and location. But like, I always talk about, that's why, like me, when I created No Filter, like, cause I have another channel, but I got to delete that video with my face on it. But like, to me, I'm not going to say the name, but like, for me, because I'm a comic book writer, I want to have a profession, so I gotta, toe that line a little bit. That's why I keep this username No Filter. That's why I like to change. I change my avatars up, from time to time, so people don't get used to it. That's why I change it up. So, but I think that day is going to come. I think whether we like it or not, that day is going to come. That day.
Okay, so what happens if the day comes? So the day comes, everyone like MGTOW is they're calling MGTOW like racist and all that stuff, all this nonsense. So what do you think's gonna happen with that? Do you think a lot of men are gonna go back to the plantation?
I think the government. I think to me in general, and if it's like because let's be honest, like Me Too is gonna get worse. Time's Up is gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse for men, and I think this is the only way MGTOW really becomes a threat. MGTOW is already a threat. But when the birth rate, and it's gonna happen, when that birth rate and marriage rate decline, and nobody getting married, the government is gonna force men to date. That's my theory on it. You'll probably tell you, like, dude, it's gonna happen whether we like it or not.
I'm saying I agree with you, but I want to get MGTOW Universe's opinion on this. Do you think that the government's going to force men to date, marry, and then copulate, all that stuff?
We talked about this before about government. What would the government do? Would they sell honey or would they sell vinegar?
Yeah.
So the only point of references that we have is South Korea and Japan. right? So Japan has invested 30 million of its budget on like speed dating events and stuff like that. From a government standpoint, a macroeconomic
Well, what
standpoint,
would you do?
well, what I would do is that's a good question, because again, your hands are tied and your voting majority is the demographic you're inevitably going to cut out. So it's like, okay, so you have to make a system that either favors women or it favors men. It's a zero sum game, in my opinion. So if you favor men, then you're alienating your primary demographic, and you're most likely not going to be reelected, right? If you go with the women, then you're continuing the cycle, where you're giving honey to women and you're giving vinegar to men, and men already know better, so you're speeding it up.
Even if the government did force men to date, they forced men to date or marry. One, here's the thing: a revolt is going to happen. And
exactly.
Yeah, a revolt will happen. And the thing is, they don't realize the fact that if the men, I'm talking about, let's take Greece. I forgot what country it was. It was Greece. I forgot what country it was where they got rid of all the men. The commune went to shit, and the women was begging the men to come back. And the men, I forgot what country it was, and the men said, "Fuck that! I ain't never coming back to that shit." And I forgot what country it was, and they said those men just got fed up. And I talked about this with Me Too, when Me Too first took off. Now it's taking off in the NBA and the NFL, and it's everywhere now, right? And I was talking about the whole fucking idea that with Me Too, and I think Me Too is gonna be look. I said this soon as it started with Harvey Weinstein. I said this ain't gonna end well for men, because dating now is forever changed. You can't change this once you open up a can of worms, and once you sit there once you accuse guys of some shit that happened 20, 30 years ago, whether they did or they didn't do it, this opens up a can of worms now, and a lot of men are just saying, "Fuck this shit. I'm not engaging with these people."
I see that as a great thing, though. Like, things are bad for dating and marriage, but now men can't play dumb and pretend like they don't know what the hell you're talking about, because everyone, unless you've been living under the rock for the last 3 to 4 months, you know about Me Too. So now men will start to invest in other technologies like sex bots. Maybe in my opinion, the progression of sex bots, the maturity will be sped up now, because there's that additional incentive of, okay, well, it's gotten to the point in 2018 where we can't even be caught behind a closed door with a woman at any point of our life, because some woman, like, say if I became rich, right, and one of my coworkers from, let's say, one of my very first job at McDonald's when I was 16, and I did a lot, nothing illegal, at 16. I was squeezing asses and all the other shit, right? I guess technically that would be sexual harassment, but the women, they didn't mind. If one of those women can pinpoint me there, and I probably hurt myself by admitting it now, but fuck it. And they said, okay, this happened. I'm in trouble. From 16, and I'm 30. That's 17 years ago.
Yep.
Right? That sounds ridiculous, but look at Bill Cosby as a case study. You're talking about what, 30 years?
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's where we're at. And I mean, how many men can honestly say, in the first world, can honestly say that they have never done or came onto a woman or flirted or anything that could be seen as deemed as inappropriate at any point in their life?
That's true.
Yeah, and it goes to show you. I think, to me, and I was thinking about the whole Truthful girl. She was talking about the sex dolls, and she ain't gonna talk back. And my thing is, my whole situation, I often find this. I think that, to me, and I think women don't realize and talk about this whole idea with Timeless and Me Too. I think, to me, if I was a sex doll guy, and to me, I'm not into them, but like if I was a sex doll guy and I had like this market, I'll be coming up with some advanced AI shit. Sometimes about some type basically. Well, you should make something AI because AI could be dangerous. But I think sex dolls are gonna probably be like this high end thing, not high end thing, but they're gonna be like the new thing. And when I said this, as soon as the AI started to walk and talk and they started to be humans and shit, women got a problem on their hands, man. Because and to me, I don't feel sorry for women because they did it to themselves. But still, like I think that we're living in a time period now. I talked about this when Me Too happened. I said, dude, fuck this shit, dude. I agree with TM. He said, dude, I can't deal with this shit, bro. This is some scary ass shit, bro. And I think that to me, I also feel like dating has changed. I also feel like with the yes means yes shit, they trying to get rid of due process. Oh, they don't have to file police reports no more. It's always, oh, he did this to me. Let's take Aziz Ansari, right? It was one bad date, even though the sex was consensual. Oh, she had a bad date, and guess what happened? His career is almost ruined. So I think that dating is forever changed, and I think that to me in general, and I agree with you, MU. I think it's a good thing that men are waking up to this idea because now men can act oblivious to it. And I said before, if you a dude and you still engaging with these people, like I was watching, it was a comment you left on BGS Elmore channel, and it was Cardell Tucker, whatever that dude name was. He's sitting there talking about you MGTOW's a bunch of weak dudes. I said, dude, obviously you must have obviously Me Too and times that don't exist in your time period in your world because this shit is scary, bro. Like this shit scares the fuck out of me, dude. And like for me, even if you don't engage with women, bro, you can just bump into a woman and she say you sexual assault, dude. That is some scary ass shit, and that's some for me. But I think to me, and I'll speak hypothetically to the scenario I brought up with the government forcing him in the date. I think the government is going to allow it. They're going to do that shit. They're going to do it because the thing, women make up 51% of the vote. So and guess what? And these politicians won't get reelected, so they're gonna favor the women. But what women don't realize, and the government don't realize, and I talked about this too. And what pisses me off, and I see it more than anything, is that every time there's a problem in America, oh, the fertility rate is low. It's men fault, porn fault, or it's internet porn, and we need to, ban whatever it's supposed to be. Oh, and, we need to get rid of gaming consoles. It's the same thing with the gaming. Gaming is a disorder and everything. Oh, the marriage rate is so low. Oh, it's men's fault. I'm like, no, this is what happened. I think TM said it best. When you give feminists free shit or you give women free shit and they keep asking and asking and asking, and the more you give them, and the more you empower the women and the more you disenfranchise the men, this is what happens. You get an imbalance there. So why you think women make up 60% of the colleges? Women ain't going to college to fucking get a lifetime career. They doing it to find they doing it to find the disposable male so it gets resources, right?
That's true. I agree.
So my thing is, and the thing is, what the government don't realize, or what these people don't realize, is when you go double down on gynocentrism, and you make it, and you sit there, you try to get rid of due process. You can go. A woman can go back 20, 30 years for some shit, even though she agreed to the act and was sexual assault at the time or sexual harassment at the time. But we live in this time period. And I said before, man, I think Me Too, then they change it and there's no coming back from this stuff because they open up the can of worms and now females talking about the backlash, but you did it to yourself. You didn't start this witch hunt. You did it to yourself.
Well, no filter. It's funny because Beatnik actually, what's he saying here? It says that no true to life sex dolls. It's not technologically possible. Now, me and MGTOW Universe, we've talked about this. It's gonna be possible in the next. I don't know. What do you think? 5-10 years?
Yes.
For what?
For the sex dolls,
yeah.
the ones that are like walking and talking. I mean, they already have. Yeah, right. But they still look a little weird. But
5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
But with AI. AI has come a hell of a long way over the past 10 years. That's my hope. I don't know. I really don't know. I would hope so.
Even though I'm not interested in one, I think
you'll get one.
I'm not interested in one. That's not my thing. I'm a MGTOW monk, but I feel like to me, I think guys need sexual release somewhere, and I think dealing with women in the West is fucking dangerous, man. Like, I feel like everything is sexual assault, everything is sexual harassment. You might as well fuck a dog. Shoot, right? You guys blow steam out somewhere, right?
Well, here's the thing. It's funny because when you listen to other guys, probably not MGTOW or whatever, they're like, man, they get so upset that someone would do like anything when it comes to like they don't necessarily get upset with women use dildos and stuff like that, but they get like real butthurt when guys talk about, well, you know what, screw this, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna give me a little sex doll or something, and I'm gonna be good to go. What is it about the male ego? Me and MGTOW Universe have already talked about this, but what is it about the male ego that can allow like a woman to be fine with dildos and doing their whole thing, but then when a man suggests that he's gonna relieve himself some other way, then he's all up in arms?
I think that because for year, I mean, I hear this all the time. There's this channel called Chronicle of Judas, and he's like a knowledge guy. He dropped a lot of dope concept, but like he said, something about MGTOW pissed me off with him. He was like, yeah, a bunch of MGTOWs. I'm like, he's like, he got knowledge, but he's like a fucking traditionalist, like a motherfucker. Like, oh, a man gets a family, and you get your family, you be self whatever. And that's why I stopped listening to it. I'm like, bro, you lost me right there, bro. But I think that it gets to a point with the male ego to me, and I think that men gotta stop giving a fuck. And that it goes back to the point we brought up earlier. You gotta stop giving a fuck. Like, you gotta stop giving a fuck about what people think about you. People are going to there's gonna be some people who hate you. There's gonna be some people who like you. And when you get to that point where you don't give a fuck no more, you got to say fuck it and just throw your hands up and say, you know what? Do what you want to do. And here's the thing: I'm a MGTOW dude. I'm not here to tell some other MGTOW how to live their life because I be there. I hate when people, especially the blue pill world, try to tell me how to live my life. So whatever. Yeah. And I feel like the male ego, because it's part of pride. And the male ego is part of our issues to fix the problem. And I think a lot of these guys, they get to the point they say, well, fuck it. And I think you got some MGTOWs that's anti-sex dolls. And I understand from that standpoint, and kind of understand because it can get fucked up in a situation. But I feel like, for me, like you said before, you experience optimists like being an introvert. Be who you are. Look, if you want a fucking sex doll, I'm not here to stop you, man. Look, you gotta blow your steam off somewhere. Look, I watch porn from time to time to blow my steam off. So whatever. But I think that we have to understand the fact that sometimes I think ego is good to have, especially for sport competition.
Yeah, for sport and competition, sometimes.
Yeah,
but everything else,
But ego, far as for self-improvement, can be dangerous because if you care about what others think, then you will never ever reach your full potential. You will never ever be happy with yourself because it's always, oh, this person think I'm wrong for fucking a sex doll. I'm like, dude, if you fucking happy, that makes you fucking happy. Do that shit. Like, women got vibrators. Look, sexual industries, women make the sexual industry is a being our industry, especially for women. So my thing is, women want to fucking fuck a dildo. Look, you got boy steam off somehow, dude. Because to me, I don't want it. This is what I don't want MGTOW to be. I don't want these guys to do that. They so sexually frustrated where I can't fuck this, I can't fuck that, and next thing you know, they start shooting up a gym or whatever. And that's my biggest main concern about MGTOW.
Well, they get prison syndrome.
Yeah, or they get the pussy syndrome, whatever.
You know what prison syndrome is, right? Prison
What's
syndrome is when you start looking at other dudes and they start to look like women to you, and so you start to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, for me, like, I don't want these guys to be like, man, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like, look, whether you watch porn, whatever the fuck it is, whatever the fuck you get you off, long as it ain't bothering you, stopping you from being a productive citizen, I can give a fuck about what you do. But I just think that the male ego is so hard to let that shit go, because especially when you care about your fellow brothers, and for me, whatever. But I feel like I'm at the point in my life where I stopped giving a fuck, bro. I don't care, man. I don't want a sex doll, can care less about one, but I'm not gonna shame another dude if another want to fuck one. Like the misanthropist one, I think the misanthropic one, he did his stream about MGTOW and sex dolls, and he was talking about, look, he was like, he's I'm a purple pill dude, man. I want to get married and everything, but it's Me Too shit. He was like, fuck this shit. I might as well buy a doll. I mean, here's the thing: even if you got purple pill dudes who struggle between blue pill and red pill, and them dudes are saying that shit, it goes to show you how bad it is. Like, it's bad. It goes to show you how bad it is.
Well, let me ask you this, no filter. Actually, no. Let me tell you, because I like when he explains it. Traditionalism. Beatnik brought up a good point. Traditionalism, he says, equals male self-sacrifice. So if we go back to the patriarchy, right? Now, I'm not a fan of the patriarchy because I thought males were disposable then as well. And MGTOW Universe brings up a good point. He says that it's all about male disposability or whatever. But MGTOW Universe, talk about how you didn't like the patriarchy. You said in your video when you talked to that girl, but why do you not like the patriarchy and male disposability as it relates to patriarchy like you did in the video?
Well, no matter what model whatever model people use for relationships or marriage or whatever, males will always be disposable. And me and you experienced, we went through two scenarios or two thought experiments on where we tried to figure out how we could come up with a model for society where men
Andrew,
are.
Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, Andrew made a comment. He said, anyway, I was thinking, yes, Andrew, they can be. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. Where men can't be disposable. We could minimize it, but you need a military, you need cops. I don't know. Like, again, it comes a question like on the macro scale, can there be a model where men are not disposable? I don't know.
But would you like to be in that patriarchy to where you're the leader of the household? You're pretty much going to be doing 90 to 99% of the work. I mean, but you wouldn't like that more?
Like what more?
More than now with the matriarchy and how like the Me Too and all that stuff?
Well, if I had to choose between the patriarchy and the matriarchy, yes, I'm choosing the patriarchy every single time.
Okay.
But if I could choose not to do either one, then I would choose neither of them because, in both models, patriarchy and matriarchy, the male is still disposable, regardless. Whether in matriarchy you have taxpayers or tax dollars for men going directly to women via welfare systems and stuff like that, and divorce court and blah 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 blah. We already know this stuff. In the patriarchy, you get so-called authority over your wife and kids, assuming that the system allows it, but you're still expected to be disposable in terms of providing and protecting and working X amount of hours and blah 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 blah. So to me, both systems are shit, but one is more beneficial to society than the other. So if we had to choose between both evils, then patriarchy is the lesser of two evils.
I'm not sure about patriarchy, man, because it seems like in patriarchy, you're going from like right now, right? You might be doing 70% of the work, but patriarchy, you're doing like damn near, you're doing all of it. And the woman just sits back and chills. Yeah, she fixes you a sandwich and cleans up around the house. But how hard is that to do right now? I mean,
it's like
like she would be living the high life.
Yeah, but what is it like? But to add on to the conversation, I think that for me, because I never thought about it that way on MU, because I know I rock with TFM. I rock with TFM, and I think he makes up 80%. Like I love his content. He brings up 80%. I believe 80% of his talking points when authority. But I feel like patriarchy, even back in the day, was a fucking trap. I feel like you still being a disposable male. I feel like you still being that disposable male. You still working mad hours. You still fall to the same pitfall traps, whether you was living in a matriarchy. I think, to me, look, I can kind of understand if I had to pick the lesser two evils, because a man will actually have authority of his family in the patriarch. I see it from that standpoint. But far as the mad hours, the family, and then you got to deal with the boss nagging your ass to death, your wife, even though she's a stay-at-home person, I'm like, that's a fucking trap. I mean, whatever. But I think for me, I always found that type of mentality of the wife stay at home. Like, and that's why I say I see so many rich guys, they be like, oh, I want my wife to stay at home. I'm like, you do understand you fuck yourself over. You fuck yourself over even more. Like, I have a male friend of mine. I had a male friend of mine years ago. I don't talk to her no more because his wife she was a bitch though. She's a bitch in my personal opinion. But she was talking to him, and there was a premise where he was on. It was something. I forgot what it was. And he was I forgot what it was. And a male friend of mine, she got married a couple years ago. he married this chick. He married this chick, and he was when he first met this chick, she was working six figures. She was working a six figure job. She had gave birth to his first child. She, whatever, so on and so. She basically, after she gave birth to the child, the kid got older. She wanted to go back to work. He was like, I don't want you to work. And then she's like, okay, cool. And then, now he's dealing with, now he calling me recently talking about, man, you was right, man. I was all a trap. I was like, dude, if she said she wouldn't go back to school, she wouldn't go back to work, she allowed it, man. It made it a little easier. And now it's causing a rift behind it. Now she's using that whole argument against him, talking about, and I was thinking about when you brought up in you about patriarch, is that she's using that whole argument against, oh, you held that against me. You told me stay at home, and now she's using it against him. I said, dude, women do that shit all the damn time.
You know what's funny about that? It's like a catch-22 system. You can't win either way. If she stays at home, right, she's going to say that, well, she's going to pull that, well, I wanted to leave, but he made me stay at home. But if she leaves the household or whatever, and she starts working, then she'll say, hey, well, you need to start doing more chores. You need to give more money. It's always a catch-22. It's always a lose.
Even you working 24, 48 hours a week, she ain't doing shit. All she got to do is order groceries.
She never does as much as you, generally. Like, now, women will say that they do as much. They'll always say that they do.
Yeah, and that's why I find the patriarchy. That's why I find the patriarchy. I find that whole patriarchy, that whole patriarch, matriarch. It's the same bullshit. It's the same catch-22 in every scenario. Like, it's the same with the alpha. Same thing arguing with the alpha beta shit. Like, the reason why I'm not an alpha, not beta. I'm just a man, dude. Like, it's the same arguments. It's like these labels and stuff. It's like, dude. It's like, all right, you got one society in the patriarch where men have authority over the families, right? I agree with that. Men actually haven't been able to discipline the child, right? And then, but here's the catch-22, like you said,
and the wife.
Yeah, and the wife.
Oh,
and guess what happens? She's cooking and cleaning. But guess what happens? She years in the marriage, she can use that shit against you, saying, "Oh, you made me stay at home." So my thing is, what would you just rather have? Or you can have a matriarch where your wife work and you work, and she used that against you, saying, "Oh, if you made more money, I wouldn't have to work." So it's
this brings up a good point. No filter. I'm glad you said that. So now, all right. So MGTOW, moving forward, that whole alpha. I know what you already think about the whole alpha beta thing, but as a MGTOW person, you're going your own way. You're doing everything you need to do. MGTOW Universe, is that alpha in itself?
What was the first part of that question again?
So as a MGTOW, you're going your own way. You're doing your own thing. You're selfish, right? You got you got standards. You're self-sufficient. You know what you want to do. So is that alpha in itself? Because we talk about the alpha beta debate, but is that alpha in itself by you doing everything for yourself and not being disposable?
It depends on your definition of alpha. I mean, if your definition of alpha is just doing what you want on your own terms, then sure. But the problem is that when you start with the alpha and beta paradigm, someone else will come by and say, "Well, that's not alpha because you're not doing bitch management and blah 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 blah, and you're opting out." And some people call it running away, and that's why I just stay away from the terms like alpha and beta.
And I agree the same thing. And like, I think SFM said it best. It's the same fucking argument. Both is fucking simps. Like, like you said before, like alpha one, one claim to be tough, and you got the other one that just simp is just dedicated to females. So I feel like for me, the reason why I dropped the alpha beta shit a long time ago, and I just find it as a fucking trap that most men fall into, is like the whole argument. It's like the whole argument. I'm using as a great analogy, the alpha beta argument. LeBron versus Jordan, right? LeBron versus Jordan, right? It's the argument, same argument. Oh, is LeBron better than Jordan? I'm like, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan, LeBron is LeBron. Why can't we just have why we can't both us play a greater their own way? Why can't we? I know I'm using as an analogy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't why you can't LeBron just be LeBron and Jordan be Jordan and Kobe be Kobe? Like, why do we always gotta compare every athlete to Michael Jordan? I know Michael Jordan's a standard, but to bring it back to alpha beta argument, it's the same shit. It's like, I'm alpha because I'm doing this and that. No, you ain't alpha because this is alpha. It's the same dumbass tired of arguments like this.
Well, you know what I think, man. You know what I think. I think that women game. You know, women have game or whatever. They have a game for whatever you choose to believe in. So if you're beta, you know, they'll sit back and let you spend money on them and whatever, and use you up. If you're alpha, and I think we talked about this before, but if you're alpha, they'll let you take the lead and do all this stuff and sit back and still reap all the rewards because you're still going to be doing 80 to 90% of the work. So either way, women have it all figured out.
Yeah.
But men like to beat their chest and say, hey, you know, I'm alpha, or if you're a guy who's giving a lot of money and doing all this stuff, support. They like to beat their chest.
Like, for me, you know, with alpha male strategies, like, look, if like alpha male strategy, my problem with alpha male strategy is not with his philosophy. Like, look, if you want to pump it up and you want to be an idiot to spend thousands of dollars and rent cars and shit, that's let his dumb ass go on the dead. I'm not trying to tell him what him do, but it's like the whole argument. It's the same thing. I remember that beef between Stephen Dean Williams and alpha male strategies. They got into it. Oh, who's the most alpha? You got Stephen Dean Williams, who's a fucking really a bitch in my opinion, but I can't stand that dude. But you know, he talking about he alpha, but he married. I don't know how the fuck can you be alpha and married, but really you a beta the whole time.
I didn't say that either. I didn't say
that. And then you got fucking alpha male strategists, even though he got a good point with pumping up in these chicks, he doing the same shit Steve doing. He just ain't engaged. He's doing the same old shit. He's spending thousands of dollars. He's like, well, I don't mind no dude lying to female, because female a lot of dudes all the damn time. I can give a fuck about that. But it's the same shit. You falling into the same pitfall traps that most motherfuckers fall into. Like, I don't give a damn if you alpha beta. Both are fucking simps. It's just that one is this dude is getting all the females, and then you got the dude that can't get, you know, whether he can't get a chick, but it don't fucking matter. It's that I'm tired of this argument. Alpha beta is the same old shit. I wish men would just drop this stupid ass label. Just be a man. You a fucking man, dude. And that's the thing about me, because I have so many motherfucking friends tell me saying I'm a beta. I'm like, dude, I'm not chasing women. So I'm not putting women on a pedestal, none of that shit. I'm like, dude, like, nigga, you more of a fucking simp than anything. Like, dude, it's like, and that's the thing for me. I dropped the alpha label, the alpha beta shit a long time ago. Like, I said the same thing. I just wish men to stop using that shit, because it's the same target argument. It's both motherfuckers seeking female validation. That's what that shit boils down to. The simp trying to get female validation, and the alpha trying to get female validation. And
okay,
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I hear what you're saying. So, all right, so then, like, swinging back around to what we were saying in the beginning, as far as like MGTOW and the future, because I probably got to wrap it up here in the next 15 minutes or so. But so MGTOW in the future. So where do you see MGTOW in the future? To summarize.
Be honest with you, this is my observation of it. If Me Too and Time's Up, it's gonna get worse.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets to that point, I'm calling it now, and don't say you won't be surprised. The government forced men to date women, forced to date marry, and forced men to marry. That's the only way they're gonna do it. That's how I see it, and it may be scariest thing to me, but I'm saying, and I feel like, to me, that's how I see MGTOW in the future. But how I really want to see MGTOW in the future is a bunch of men just waking up to the bullshit that females do, and just do self-actualize, just do shit they never done before, travel, broadening horizons. But that's my wishful thinking. But I think in the in a real universe, they just label MGTOWs as hate groups, and they're gonna force men to get married, and that's how I really see it, because the way it is going on now, I don't know. That's how I see it, and I wanted to get better, but it's probably gonna get worse.
I see what you said. What about you, MGTOW Universe?
The future of MGTOW. I agree.
I see you having a long conversation there. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, well, that's a different conversation for a different day. We can certainly talk about it next week if you want. But MGTOW will grow as it has been over the past 5 to 6 years, or rather, no, 6 to 7 years. Yeah, the Armageddon is coming. Again, all you need is one person, just one. That's how fragile or volatile our system is when it comes to perception of people. will the government force men to marry women or to take care of a woman explicitly? I don't think so. The reason is because you cannot force men, a larger group of men, to do anything. Women can't do it, even if a smaller group of men with with better technologically advanced weapons were to think that they could. You will eventually have a revolt on your hands, and you cannot have the larger group of men dying or being locked up, because where does that leave your society? So even if you're a government and you want to sell men vinegar by explicitly having them do something that they don't want to do, you have to come to some sort of balance, I guess you could say. Again, I think this is a zero-sum game, so I don't know if that's possible. But MGTOW is going to grow. It's going to be mutated to other things. Transsexuals will be coming in. They've already been coming in. Gays will be coming in. Again, I don't have any issues with any of these demographics of people. You know, you do you behind your closed doors.
That's not MGTOW, in my opinion, though. I feel like gay MGTOW, but I'm my first or whatever.
Right. There's only a matter of time before women will start coming in. It's coming. I mean, it's.
Yep.
I think MGTOW. I said this like 3 years ago. MGTOW is going to be mutated. It hasn't gotten as bad as I thought it would be in 2018, but you're starting to see it.
MGTOW. Whoa. What do you mean by mutated?
So, like we were talking about before, where people are starting to put like their the Republican stuff, Tucker Carlson and stuff like that. Some people, they have they really do have a white supremacist angle to it, and it's rare, but it's there. Yeah. So the more, let's say if
isn't that why it more started, because they felt that
I was actually there. Well, I wasn't actually in the chat where it was Attican Forrest and TFM, and I encourage everyone to go watch that. I think the hangout is from Shining Light. So if you can search for that, I don't remember the name of the hangout itself, but basically you had Black MGTOW. There's issues that specifically that Black men go through, because it would seem, as TFM has admitted himself, that as far as race lines go, that Black people or Black men, they have it the worst with Black women, right? And so there were Black men that wanted to talk about that, and there were MGTOWs like, well, let's leave race out of it, and I understand both viewpoints from Attican Forrest and TFM. They're both right. So it more went their way. MGTOW, they did the same. So that's why you have people like BGS Itmore that they'll put MGTOW and Itmore. They subscribe to both. It's basically the same thing. Yeah. But in the beginning, I will say this: in the beginning, Itmore, from what I saw, it was more like, women are this and that, but find the right woman, and that's why I did not put the tag on my name.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I don't know. I have heard that they have changed their position. And Attican Forrest, when he does his live casts or live streams, he is going in on Black women. Also, he does sound more of like he sounds like the Black version of TFM, to be honest with you.
Man, that guy goes heavy, man. He's talking.
He does.
He goes the anarchist route. But anyway,
yeah. So that's why I see where MGTOW is going. I do look forward to the growth. I don't look forward to the mutation, because I know it's coming.
Oh man, the mutation. Well, I think MGTOW is going to go. Man, that's a tough one, just because I don't know if there's going to be a mutation, just because when men get together and men are trying to do something, it seems like other than shame, people try to avoid it in some way. I guess I could see like the trans doing that. I guess I could see gay people, but women try doing it. But
so that response video? Do you remember what she said? Truth, a girl. You remember one of the very first things that? Did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember one of the very first things that she said in this? That she said in the first video? She said that she was a what? A MGTOW what?
Oh, supporter. Yeah.
An ally or
yeah,
something like that.
So what's he doing with that? I mean, it's just something that everybody says. Because remember, even alpha male strategies, right? Didn't he say something like that? Didn't he say like, I was a MGTOW at one point. I was a MGTOW at one point, and I agree with female, what they say about female nature, but these guys are bitches, moaning, complaining, blah, blah, blah. And then, I fuck the bitches asleep. So, yeah. So, when the girl's talking about, I'm an ally, this and that. But I thought she was lying from the beginning. Because, like I said,
go ahead.
No, like I said, like before, man, I used to be attracted to chicks like that. And they always do that to disarm the person that they're talking to. They always say that, I believe what you're saying. I see your point, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll go right into shaming you, and then they'll hit what I call the bitch switch. And then they'll just turn on you later on down the line. So, I never really believed what she was saying. Yeah,
but she may actually believe that she is a MGTOW ally, even though she's talking shit.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And even though we are keen to hearing it, some people who don't know about MGTOW, or maybe she's like the very first video that people will watch on MGTOW because she has MGTOW in her meta tags or whatever, right?
She's saying she's using a Lauren Southern game.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she believes that she's an ally.
Man, she hypergamous too, man. She just use a conservative label just to
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I say Lauren Southern game, it's like her and those other girls. They're saying the things that
men want to hear.
A lot of conservatives, a lot of alt-right guys want to hear as well. She's saying all those things just so she can make money, basically. And she's very attractive.
I'm not gonna fucking lie. Lauren's up the kind of bad though, man. She's a bad bitch though.
Right, exactly. But
that's what she's doing. That's her thing.
Exactly. If you can get a sexually attractive woman to say anything, and guys will flock to her.
I mean, Fox News, they do that all the time, right? Like, they have all those cute chicks on there. And
how many ugly women have you seen on the Fox network?
None.
Exactly.
I like Tommy Lauren too, though. She kind of
but see, look how cute. See, I love how Tommy Lauren is a perfect example because look how she looks. Right, she looks like that down home, Southern Midwestern girl, cute, blonde, probably blue eyes,
the perfect wife.
And she's perfect wife, and she says everything a diehard conservative will want to hear.
Yep.
And then
that's like print money right there. I mean, when they saw her, they see like a picture of her with like a black dude, and then like everyone started going crazy. And
she's with a black dude?
No, it was either Tommy Lauren or Lauren Southern. I think it wasn't even like this guy was a black conservative. Was it Tommy Lauren? Okay, yeah. This guy was a black conservative. I mean, he agreed with all the conservative talking points. So he was, well-dressed, articulate. Yeah.
All that shit about that Mr. Midwestern girl. If you see a black dude, all people see is BBC and a white girl. That's all they see. It's like, oh no, we out. No, we ain't doing it. But that's it. I don't want to bring race in this conversation.
I don't want to do it. Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, and this is what I understand about, and the book of Alpha-Ronemy said it best. He said, race, this is why I kind of agree with him, even though I don't like the term alpha and beta. He said, racism is beta behavior. And the reason why he's saying that is because the Me Too and all that stuff, they're coming after all men. They're not discriminating. They're not saying, well, these Asian men, they're going to be okay. No, they're going after Asian men, Indian men, Pakistani men, African-American men, African men, white men. They're going after everybody. So for us to sit here and to be like, okay, well, I still hate this group. I hate this group over here. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. NBA, and it's going to hurt you in the long run.
I say, NBA. If Adam Silver ain't careful, the NBA can become the NFL fucking anarchists, and that shit just be sexual assault everywhere. So I mean, this is what fucking happens, man. I mean, this is what happens when you let the inmates run the asylum. I said this before, man. I keep trying to say this all the time. Like, was it? I think 2 years ago, it was Adam Silver was talking about doing a female coach. I said, bruh, in this political climate we're living in now, I don't think that's a good idea. I say, bruh, you can go full blown feminist if you want to, dude. That shit ain't gonna fucking work. Cause the moment she be in that male locker room and she hearing on men talk, and they say some shit, she say some shit, that player under scrutiny. I say, dude, that's a bad idea. That's why I said no disrespect, and people can call me sexist, misogynist. I don't believe women belong in men's sports, bro. NFL, NBA, just keep it all men. Call it like that, man. Keep it like that, man.
Well, what do you think about that, MGTOW Universe? You think that's true? You think that all women and men and also women's sports and men's sports should be separate?
Yes.
Well, I had this discussion with Traversal with MGTOW a while ago, where the San Antonio Spurs, Becky Hammond, she's an assistant coach, and they're grooming her to replace Coach Greg Popovich. Right, he's one of the greatest. They're going to do it. Whether it works or not, I don't think it'll work. But again, with this Me Too thing, so very often in sports, when there's coach and player meetings, there's a closed door.
Yep.
So now, if you're a player on the San Antonio Spurs or any team that has a female coach, she can say later on down the road that you did something to her, and it may not even happen. If you're that player, your career is done.
Done.
Mm-hmm.
It's a slippery slope. Slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. So what? Let's say you got a male coach, right? Closed door, same thing. He says, "Hey, man, LeBron, man, touched my balls one night."
Guys don't do shit like that, though.
No, for real.
Guys don't do shit.
I'm just playing devil's
like
advocate. I know.
I would to reverse it, like being a male coach in the WNBA. Again, there aren't many of those either, but it seems like the most successful WNBA teams have male coaches. But that's besides the point. But I would be terrified to be a male coach in that environment because the same thing could happen.
Yep.
Because now you're not just talking about one guy and a female coach. You're talking about being the guy and 15 different women plus training staff and all of that other stuff. Like the Me Too thing, it opens. We already knew that this could happen, but a year ago we would be called being paranoid and all this stuff. Now it's real. So we've already seen this happened to Mark Cuban being alleged sexual assault.
Wait a minute, I thought it was the guy that he worked that
him too. Him
too.
No,
wait a minute. So Mark Cuban got
the owner, yes, of the Dallas Mavericks. He's been accused.
Who accused him?
I don't know, but I didn't really go into the story. I just know that this was big news like a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
But yeah. They got him. I knew that was coming. He got someone that was below him, and they weren't gonna get the owner too. Oh no, they're gonna get him too.
They got the owners.
I thought it was just the other guy. Okay.
They got the owner of the Carolina Panthers too. They got him too.
Yeah,
they got him too.
Yep. So now Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is in a sticky spot. Do you make him sell the team like you did Donald Sterling 5 or 6 years ago?
Oh,
because certainly sexual assault is more I guess dangerous is the word I'm looking for, or is more important than a racist rant.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's coming for sports. Yeah. It's not coming from sports. It's already here. So there's nothing in your life, no facet in your life that's going to be exempt from Me Too as long as the opposite sex is around you.
So okay. So what if I'm pumping and dumping? I'm out there, I got the girls doing whatever, and I'm pumping and dumping. How do I avoid this from happening?
Don't pump and dump.
Pump and dump.
That's the only good advice you're going to get. Not only not pump and dump, but don't. This is so sad. Don't be behind any closed doors. Always be in the sight of a third party. It's crazy. Like it's bad. It's bad. Like your worst paranoid nightmare that you could possibly think of is a reality today.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Like most guys say it, I don't think it's gonna happen to me.
Okay.
Just because I dress well. I dress well.
Okay,
you know,
Mr.
Hey, I treat the women with respect. You know, after I'm done, I say, look, let me give you a ride home, or here, let me give you an Uber. So that definitely cannot happen to me.
But you're trusting the woman with her emotions in that model. And men who's been on this planet long enough know better. You do not trust the woman with her own emotions. Because it's your life. It's your life. You're putting your life in the hands of someone else. That's just stupid off GP. Woman or man. So me too will get worse. Much worse. It's starting to creep in. I don't know what is going on in NFL, but I know it's creeping into the NBA. Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
And that's what I'm trying to say with the Becky Hammond being groomed for the next coach. If the Spurs ain't careful, that shit will become a fucking big uproar. Because to me, dude, like, because I'm looking at Mark Cuban when he was accused of sexual assault or sexual whatever. I'm like, dude, man. This is why I always say, and people catch me. I catch slack for saying in the comments. This is the reason why I don't believe women should be integrated in male sports. They should just keep men and women separate. And I say this all the time. I think men and women, this should be boys' schools and it should be girls' schools. Like even in high school, middle school, college, it should be men colleges and girl colleges. Just keep them separate from one another, because people say, "Oh, that's separating." That's not the answer. I mean, what's your fucking answer then? You know, have men false accused of rape and stuff like that, like the cross boys and the mattress girl, like, dude, like that shit will fucking ruin the motherfucker life, man. Like,
that's true.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like, but when you put men and women together, it can work, but it just seems like,
oh man,
it seems like there's a lot of dudes that just cater to women, man.
Yeah,
and I think
that's exactly why it can't work.
You don't think the men can cater less? Like, all right, so back in the patriarchy, right, where men used to keep women out of all these, places, keep them out of the workforce, stop them from doing all that stuff. To me, I always thought, hey man, if you think you're equal, why don't you go ahead be an engineer, but I'm not gonna break my back to help you, right? If you say that you can do it, I'm not gonna break my back to help you.
Long as you have gynocentric thinking, men as a whole will not do that.
Yeah,
because men will want to fuck, men will want to please women, men will want to gain favor. It sounds great, but it just will not work. Did we lose him? Experience. Okay, so he jumped off. So I think we have like 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Traversable, how's it going? Yeah, Becky Hammond. Everyone celebrates, the first female coach. Okay, what happens when the first female coach gets fired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you have a female coach saying that this and that happened, and she wants to sue the NBA or the team or both.
Or the play. She says a player said an inappropriate comment that she didn't like.
Exactly.
Yep. And this is what I'm saying. It's a fucking look. The thing about feminism is the thing. Here's the thing that pisses me.
What the hell happened? Hello?
You got kicked off.
Kicked off.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like I was thinking about that shit. Like, everybody's bigging up Becky Hammond. I'm like, dude, that is a fucking that shit is a meat. That shit waiting to happen. That is a fucking disaster waiting to happen. Like, I often say that because I was thinking to myself, with the Panther owners have to sell he's selling the Panthers, and Mark Cuban being accused of sexual assault. I was like, dude, this is getting out of hand, bro. Look, this is utter ridiculous, man. This should have Harvey Weinstein or whoever they should have fucking sued these women to the Stone Ages, but they didn't fucking do it. And that's the thing that pisses me off. I look at Me Too when it first started. I'm like, dude, Like you made like Aziz Ansari when he was accused of the whole thing, but it was coming found it was consensual. Like, dude, that blog talked about threw dragged his name through the mud, but he apologized. Like, dude, I would have sued him to the Stone Ages, bro. By the time I got done with them, they'd be paying me for the rest of my life for dragging my name through the mud like that. But even if that's the case, your career is ruined beyond that point.
Well, you see what happened to Harvey Weinstein? You see that video where he got slapped?
What?
On TMZ? It was, I mean, of course, Harvey Weinstein, I mean, he was, messing around with those girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. I was like, see how the mighty have fallen. It was like a TMZ clip. And he was in maybe in Arizona or something like that. And this guy's like, man, get the fuck out of here. And he slaps him like twice. He's like, get the fuck out of here. What you did to all those women or whatever. So here's this dude. I don't know if you remember back in the day. This guy was unstoppable.
Yep.
Well, did he actually rape or sexually assault those women? Or did he just use women? What happened was, I don't know if you heard the video. There's a video where he's pressuring this woman to like give him a massage or something like that. Okay. And it's creepy, dude. Like, I'm thinking a guy like this, he has all this money. Why doesn't he just, I mean, if he can get like a professional. I mean, come on, man. Like, he can get a professional in Hollywood. You can get a professional that looks, I don't know how fine the girl was, but a 10 plus, because so many young women go there to, be in movies, and then they end up doing that, right? So I'm like, man, well, I mean, what's the deal? Plus, he has a lot of money. I'm sure there's some other girl who wants to get in movies that would probably get with him. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why is he begging? Like, he was literally begging this woman to. But I was you know what I mean? So I don't understand like what he was doing, man. Like
it was on I was on MSN on my Microsoft 10 thing, Windows 10 thing. And I think it was an article was talking about police talking about arresting Harvey Weinstein. They get a warrant for his arrest so they can arrest him. I'm like, God damn, dude. You fall hard, god damn! Like I said, I hope that pussy was worth it, god damn it, god.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like apparently he had been doing it for years. Yeah, he'd been doing it for years, and of course, in Hollywood. Yeah. I mean, I used to live in LA, so the dudes there, man, I talk about like they like simp like crazy, and they chase women, and like the clubs are all cater to women, man. Like the women have some of the worst attitudes in Hollywood clubs in LA and Orange County and places like that, because they're so entitled. They get free everything, free entry, free this, free that. Yeah. So, and guys cater to women in LA hardcore. So to see a Harvey Weinstein, man, drop like that, man. Whew.
But you know what pisses me off with that though, because I'm not condemning what he did. That was some creepy shit.
Yeah, that was creepy shit for sure.
That was some creepy shit. But I'm saying, like, my thing is Harvey Weinstein been doing what? Like, here's the thing. Here's the reason why I fucking hate Me Too. Now, I talked about this shit when it first fucking happened. The reason why I find most 90% of those women that's talking about Me Too full of shit. Now, whether they was actually sexual assault that was fucked up and it needed to be addressed, need to fix those issues. But I feel like my thing is, look, I talked about this when it happened. I said this shit pisses me off, and it was like Oprah Winfrey. You see the photos years ago with Harvey Weinstein before he fell. She took a picture with this dude. Madonna knew about it. Meryl Streep knew about it.
Everybody knew about it.
Everybody knew about it, and then now they act like they care about the victims. Like, but you just doing it now because it's popular. But to me, what I find interesting about the women, the women in Hollywood talking about, oh, Harvey Weinstein did this to me. I'm like, but why you didn't report this to the police officers, or why you went and filed a police report or anything like that? And that's the reason why I say I can't take Me Too seriously, because it's always, if you did something, the crime was committed. You file a police report, and then you leave it up to the investigators to do it and find the guy was innocent or guilty. But it's the whole thing is, everybody's going on social media saying somebody did it, and I'm like, wow, like it's wow, and it's that sad. And the thing is, a lot of those men careers can't even come back. Like Aziz Ansari, I hope his career can come back, but man, ain't nobody come back from that shit, dude. They don't come back from that shit. That shit just terrible, man.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Whether it's made up or if he's actually a perpetrator, his career is done. Because now everyone will remember him as being that guy.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm trying to say. Like as a guy, and that's what I mean. I'm gonna say something I said earlier about money, fame, and ego. That shit don't mean nothing because like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, you know, is probably one of the greatest players of all time. But people always gonna bring up what happened in Colorado with the chick. So it's like, yeah. So it's like even when Kobe Bryant won the fucking Oscar for, and they was like, oh, him too, and they were talking about, oh, he did this back in Colorado. Like, wow, man, like that's fucked up, man. Like,
Well,
damn.
the crazy thing about it also is you can have a girl who could be down for you because with this whole Me Too thing, I remember when Alyssa Milano, right? Like Alyssa Milano got a lot of roles because she was sexy. And I'm sure MGTOW Universe remembers this, but but yeah, she got a lot of roles because she was sexy. There's a lot of other women who got roles because they were sexy, right? But now those same women, like Alyssa Milano, she came out with the whole feminism thing. And who's that one Hispanic woman that was on Dangerous Housewives that was really good looking?
Eva Longoria.
Eva Longoria, right? So she recently came out like that too on the feminist agenda. So let's say you're married to Eva Longoria, right? You know, she's sexy, whatever. She's down for you. Everything's cool. And then this comes out. You're like, man, I disagree with it. Then she goes crazy and then divorces you. Man, you're screwed. Yep. You know, and then she could just be like, hey, you know, he doesn't believe the Me Too thing and or what happened to those other male actors that recently came out and then they got lambasted. Who were those two male actors that came out? The guy from Born Identity and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon and Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Didn't Ben Affleck come out too and he was saying something?
Yeah. I think Ben Affleck too.
And look what happened to them. So, man, it's so treacherous right now, man, for a man right now.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. I mean, anything that you've done ever in your life, if any flirting, any sort of fondling or anything, whether it was wanted or not, can bite you in the ass.
And no amount of game, alphaness, dressing right, saying the right thing is going to save you.
Actually, pumping it up actually increases your risk because for every single woman, that's just another person that can accuse you.
Oh yeah, especially pumping up. And what's funny, and talking about alpha male strategies here, and I'm big up to him. No animosities towards him, but like I was telling MGTOW Universe one time, a dude like that, he would be the perfect target. He makes a good amount of money.
Yeah,
he's tall. He looks imposing, so I can always go to the judge and say, "Look, I didn't want to have sex with him, but he forced me. Look how big he is, and man, I could just take that dude for all he's worth."
Yeah, he looked like he's straight out of prison.
right. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say the judge asks him, like, so what do you think about this, Mr. Alpha Male Strategies? And he starts talking. She's gonna be, oh, man, it's over for that dude, man. But
they're not even gonna ask him. They're gonna take one look at him and assume that he's guilty.
Oh yeah, that's right. One look, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he looks like he'll take some pussy.
Yeah, Dean Williams or whatever that guy's name, Steve. Anyway, that guy, and I'm not trying to berate the guy or anything, but he's been married for 21 years, is it?
Damn.
21 years, and he's talking to men about going out there and being alpha and picking up women. It makes no sense. And then, like, when you go to the website, it's hundreds of dollars for consultations and books and programs, and I'm like, man, this guy is just hustling dudes.
You know what? What's so funny? I'm glad you brought that shit up because I was like, now he on the pro black tip now, which is Tariq Nasheed. I remember like I remember with Tariq Nasheed, like 2008, 2009, probably 2010, 11. He was like, the Mac guy, the Mac game, and you gotta do this and that. Guys would call him to the show, and then the reason why I can tell the people with the pickup game is bullshit. You got Tariq Nasheed, somebody who went into the game. He went and gave me guys all this advice about how to get girls. He went from this to a pro-black hustler, you know, selling black folks victimhood and shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, that dude, he goes from this to that. I'm like, and it goes to show you, that's why I laugh at Steve D. Williams is full of shit. I'm like, bro, you've been married for 21 years, bro. You've been out the game for how long now? Like, you can't be, you the last motherfucker should be giving advice.
Yeah, Tariq Nasheed actually ended up getting married, right? Yes, he's married with 4 kids or something like that. And the thing is, what I know about Tariq Nasheed is that he's basically an opportunist. I mean, he talks about having the code. He talks about, but back in the day, he was talking about women and this and that. But then now he says the total opposite about women. He's like, man, he used to go in on African American women, right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but now he's like, if a guy says, hey, you know what, these African American women, these black women aren't treating me well, he's like, oh, this guy's a coon, and you know, this guy, he's in a sunken place and stuff like that. And I don't want to talk about race or whatever, but I mean, it's messed up, man. And he just changed the way he was in order to make money.
Kind of like Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. I mean, all those.
Every time I cannot respect Bill Burr no more. When he did that video about MGTOW, he was going in on him. I'm like, dude, your wife is a fucking cunt. I remember like listening to her like the very few episodes she was in. She would berate him, talk down to him. I said, bro, I can't put up with it.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro.
She was basically, she's a perfect example of how women can, what I call using the siren song, how they can turn things around on men. How like it sounds like when you listen to them, it sounds legit. It sounds like something. It makes a lot of sense. But when you listen to it, it's derogatory generally against the men, and it generally it's a subtle way at berating men, right? Just like that girl in MGTOW Universe's video, like, oh, I'm your ally, I'm this and that. But hey, if you get with a robot and whatever, I mean, women don't like. What you say? Women don't like losers, or women don't like guys without courage, or something like that. So it's like these small little slights towards the man, and it tries to degrade the man and make the man look bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's like I was watching that fucking video with that chick. I'm like, dude, it's like I left a comment about the sex doll, like this shit was talking about sex dolls. I bet she be the main one. I bet she the main one if you know, if sex dolls ever have to have AI or whatever, it ain't really get technologically advanced with it. She be the main ones crying about it. I was like, and one thing I noticed about chicks like that when they talk about the sex doll shit, I'm like, you threaten about them things. Here's the thing. And the reason this is why I say I say 90% of females fucking useless nowadays. Here's the thing: they fucking fear a fucking sex doll. It ain't got no AI. It can't walk and talk. It's a fucking thing that men have sex with. You mean tell me you fear a fucking sex doll? Something that does not even pose a threat to you, and that's all you can fucking offer. And you can't even be I think TFM said it best. It's like these people, if you can't be the sex doll, ladies, then you got a fucking problem in your goddamn.
Well, that's a perfect point, because Human said on this last video, he said, he said that, okay, so now women are saying, well, who's gonna fix you a sandwich? Who's gonna cook for you? Who's gonna clean for you? He said, now before, you don't want to do any of that stuff. But now that the sex doll's coming, all of a sudden, you want to do all this stuff. He's like, basically, what a man is looking for is a woman who can come into his life, offer benefits, and no drama. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. He said something like that, and and then the other guy who was in the stream, he's like, and women can't even do that now. So what makes them think that when the sex doll comes out, they'll be able to do that? What do you think about MGTOW Universe? Do you think? We talk about this, but women are not going to change.
Nope.
But do you think that they will make an effort? I already know what you can say, but
nope. Yeah, because we already talked about that. Because once a better option comes out, they can't sell honey, because any man with 2 brain cells to rub together, like, you still have to trust her with her own emotions. Versus a sex doll, you don't have to convince a sex doll to have sex with it. So why are you moving backwards? Because she is the quote unquote real thing? No, you're putting yourself at risk. You have to deal with all the woman stuff. No, it's a worse option.
You know what? And I was thinking about what you just said when you post that video about watch your balls and shit. Protect your balls. When that dude was burning that clinic, I was laughing my ass off, bro. That dude, bro. And dude was like, "What a cream? Get the cream! Get the cream!"
Wait a minute. What's this protect your balls thing?
Protect your nuts. I uploaded a video earlier this morning. You have to watch it.
Someone got kicked in the balls?
No, just watch it. No.
Okay.
Don't tell them no filter. Just let them watch it. It's funny. Like if you need a laugh, that video will get you laughing every single time. My stomach has been hurting all morning laughing at that damn video.
Get the cream. Get the cream.
I'll get the cream. I'm gonna have to take that out. But anyway, hey, I appreciate you guys for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
I gotta go, but a good discussion as always. And we have to do it again another time, man.
Space Optimist on do something on my channel, probably sometime next week. Me and you gotta do a discussion, and you too, we gotta do discussion this on my channel, man, because I like these discussions, man. These things they be funny as hell to talk about, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys, man, for real.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All
Take
right,
care, guys.
All right, peace.
All right, then.